Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexiot's here. It is Sunday morning. The Raptors lost both their games yesterday. 9:05 losing in the afternoon to the Wisconsin Herd, and also the Raptors managing to lose to a very, very bad Washington team. That team is really bad. Like, that's no small feat. I'm serious. Even with all of our starters mostly out, even with all the conditions of us traveling overnight to get to Washington at 3 a.m. in the morning, we still had a huge chance to win this game uh, last night. And we probably should have in a lot of different ways. Some people may be upset that we didn't win, but you know what? This really was in our best interest to lose the game to the Wizards last night. Even if it doesn't seem natural, even if it does seem like this is really bad, this is like taking 100 steps back. No, that's not really what it was. In some ways, you can tell by the way Darko talked after the game that he is not that shook about it. And also, the players were kind of like, I don't know. It's weird. Gary does this post game interview and he says, "We're trying to win." It's like Savannah didn't even ask you that, bro. She asked you about your back. How is your back after hitting the floor at that one point in the game? And he goes, "Oh, we are trying to win." Why are you like standing up for yourself before someone even asks you what you're doing out there, Gary? That's hilarious. You're like, "Yeah, we are trying to win." He starts the interview with that, like right away. It's hilarious. Oh my gosh. It is what it is. It is what it is. And I'll say this. Y'all feel bad about losing last night? Well, let me go look at our projected percentage to keep our protected pick from the San Antonio Spurs as of last night and the outcome. It has dramatically gone up for us because of the loss last night, guys. It's insane, actually, how much it went up. I went and looked at it this morning. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm glad we lost last night. After I saw this page that I just looked at 5 minutes ago, we now have over a 65% chance of keeping our pick. Now, if you've been tracking this with me in the last week, our pick chance to keep our protected pick has gone from 30%, and it's doubled now in the last couple losses. It was 30%, it was 35%, it was 40%, and now it is 65% that we will probably keep our pick. That's the percentages of keeping in the top six. So, wow. Wow. It hurts. It looks weird. It's ugly. It's strange. But you know what? The results are important the way they went last night because we now have we jumped 25 percentage points to keep our pick last night because we lost the Wizards. So you tell me that that's losing last night. I say I could argue with you that we won in every way we could. We played pretty good. In some ways, it looked ugly. In some ways, yeah, it was a clown show. Matt Devlin in the middle of the game doing yeah, it's clown show. David's texting me. He's like, "Is he doing the clown music over the game?" And I'm like, "Yeah, David, he is because it is a clown show." And he's like, "What does that mean? That seems insulting to the players." And I'm like, "It is." And it should be, and it was, and you know what? Yeah, it's really in some ways we have an excuse. We have guys that are playing bigger roles, bigger minutes that are not really ready. Guys like Javon Freeman, Liberty, Mohamedou, and Jamice Ramsey, even to a degree. But I don't think Jamice Ramsey is not ready. I think he is ready. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of guys that are new and they're really not respected and they don't know what they're doing. And then you got the Wizards who have everybody except for their point guard, Jones, that, Kuzma and Poole are there. It's like, listen, the Wizards fans that watched that game last night, you can't be happy about how you won. If there are any of y'all around still, like, how the hell can you be happy about how y'all won? Y'all played like hot garbage. Y'all, like, fell into a win last night. It's almost like, you know what? We knew we needed to not win. And in some ways, Kelly Olynyk errant pass into the 10th row at a very key time. Gary Trent Jr. shacked in a full dunk at the rim near the end where he's like, "Oh my gosh, Gary, you are going to be on that clip highlight. You are for that rim job you did on that dunk." I feel bad. It's the plantar fasciitis, right? It just don't give you enough lift to get up over the rim and get that ball in there. Oh man, that sucked. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about in the game last night. Talk about your favorite moments. If you filled out my poll earlier to see how many games you think will win, I found this little poll option. I was like, "Oh, let me try this." And I put a little poll in. Sounds like you guys think we'll win one more game for the season. is what it looked like the majority was saying on there. We'll see the poll comes up. All right, let's start with the comments. We got lots to cover. We got the Cosmic Car of the Day. We'll check our scores and see who got the best score prediction yesterday. And of course, the stars of the game, all the regular stuff on the Raptor Freak channel reaction. Yeah, let's go. Raptors, 65% chance to keep our pick from San Antonio as of this morning, losing to the Washington Wizards. You tell me losing is not winning. You tell me that losing is not winning right now. You tell me, and I'll say losing is winning right now. That's right. Chris is first in. He's saying game was lost on the boards. No Gafford, no problem. They had Holmes take care of the glass. Also, Gary looks to need to drop 5 pounds. We had the game won until that dunk attempt. Sad, very sad. Yeah, I'm not going to blame the dunk attempt. No, that was, you know what, man, I wish he had just made it, honestly. He was having a pretty good game. Gary Trent is my star of the game for the game last night. He got his 30-point game, a 30-point game, which is really good. Let me see what he got exactly. 31 points, fantastic, 10 of 26 shooting, 1 of 7 from 3. And Darko said after the game that Gary found a way to score for us without using the 3. And he liked that. He liked a lot of what Gary was doing. He liked some of the defensive stuff he was doing. He liked the patience he showed in the post to make those layups. Those shots were crazy. And against any normal NBA team, Gary would not be able to do what he was doing last night, where he just stood there for a second and would lay it in with Wizards all around him. I mean, he did a good job, and he made a lot of those shots. But we cannot think that that is a way that he's going to get his offense normally. That is just because the Washington Wizards suck. They are so bad. They are horribly bad. In fact, I'm like worried about that franchise. If there was relegation, they would be out of the league, honestly. If there was relegation, they maybe need to be playing with the 905 in the G League, the Washington Wizards, the way they've been ran into shambles and the way that they play. I mean, they really aren't a good team. There's losing culture there. There very much is losing culture, but that in some points, sometimes you get so much losing culture that when you get that brass ring put in front of you, the other team is susceptible, and you really want to get it and win it because you haven't won a lot that year. Well, you're hungry, and you do figure out the ways to do it by the end. I mean, the scorers of Kuzma and Poole are talented. They may not be talented much more, but they are talented at scoring. And, there's certain things that we do a certain way, may not be totally them doing so well that makes them win the game. Let's just put it that way. But, Gary, you were awesome. Darko did have a little criticism for Gary Trent after the game, saying he wished he had made some more of his open shots. That in some ways he's critical of Gary for shooting 10 for 26. That's not what that's not what Darko likes. And this may be why Gary's not on our team next year. Is because he takes a lot of shots and he's not shooting a higher percentage. He's very, very volume and not efficient. And even in the game last night, he has all the opportunities in the world as the number one option. He's not efficient. He was not that efficient last night. I mean, I love him getting those shots. I love him getting 30 points. I love a lot of what he did last night, but it's still not ethically right for what we need to do to be able to be a winning team. That's the sad thing about it right there. That's the sad thing about it. We can't have them playing like that. That's a losing expansion teams kind of score to get those kind of points that way. I hate to say it, but it's just true. So you still think he's overweight, Chris? You're always saying Gary needs to drop weight. I don't understand where the weight is you think he's going to drop. What, you want him to chop his locks? That's about the best way he could lose any weight. He doesn't need to lose any weight. What are you talking about? Drop this trope. You keep saying it. He's been saying this since the beginning of the season, that Gary came into camp overweight, and that's been his whole problem this year. Yeah, I'm doing the eye test on that, Chris. I can't agree. I can't agree with your assessment, man. You're saying it's sad, very, very sad what happened last night. Nah, not really. I honestly, there was a point near the end of the game where they showed Darko, and he looked like he was in absolute agony because it's the part of the game where they have the chance to win, and Washington's kind of taking over and winning the game. And yeah, Darko looks really pissed. Darko looks like really doesn't like it. And rightfully so. We saw Darko get very fierce at times in the game last night. There was that one foul call that was a little questionable with Gary Trent coming around, and the way they swung their arm around and hit Gary in the head. It did turn out to be the right call at the end by James Williams. But initially, Jenna Schroeder called it on Gary, and Gary was incredulous. He jumped right up off the ground, like, whoa, whoa, and Darko looked pissed after that. They went the camera to Darko, and he started looking like angry Darko, fighting with the ref Darko. Darko, like, I'm not gonna back down. You better fucking listen to me right now, Darko. Yeah, and they did. And thankfully he didn't have to waste the coach's challenge on that play. They actually said, well, we'll review it for flagrant and we'll go look at it. James Williams, that's solid. That's solid that you actually just use the referee's review instead of the coach's challenge to have that overturned, and rightfully so, turned to flagrant by Kyle Kuzma, and also Gary getting to the line for 2 shots in our possession afterwards. So I was very happy about that. I was very, very happy about it. The referees were fairly fair. Everything that James Williams did around the microphone last night was on point and often was in our favor, which was good. They lost the challenge. We won a challenge. Hey, I can't complain about the refs too much last night. Now, Jenner Schroeder did screw up that call initially, but they corrected it. And that's all we ask for, refs. Now, I know Kelly was not getting good treatment from y'all. You all were very mean to Kelly last night, referees. Kelly was getting hit. Kelly's got hit in the mouth at least twice last night. And, there's nothing. You guys don't care about that. There's guys laying on the floor in these games these days, and nobody gives a shit. This shit happened in 905 yesterday in their game against Wisconsin Herd. Kobe Simmons got an elbow to the head, and he's laying on the ground, and they just let play keep going. Nobody does anything. He's still just laying there on the floor. And Eric Curry's such a wuss. He doesn't stand up and get mad about his player laying on the ground or anything, and the referees disregard it. I'm like, oh my gosh, where's the safety? Where is the respect for these kind of things? If a player's laying on the floor holding his head like this, it's time to go review something, referees, over at your little cartoon station. Yeah, it's time for you to go do that if there's a player laying on the floor like that. So, yeah, it is what it is. It be what it be. 65% chance to keep our pick is what it is. That's what it is right there. Not going to say, I think I like the OKC game more. Yeah, oh, yeah, much more pretty. A lot more entertaining, more excellence, excellence. You want to see excellence in basketball. You don't want to see a bunch of jabronis falling all over the place, turning the ball over. There were some really shitty turnovers by the Wizards last night. I'm just like, yeah, this is not winning culture. These guys are losing culture. These guys are bad. They're very bad. There were some really crazy unforced turnovers by the Wizards last night that just show that they're not an NBA team legitimately, honestly. Honestly, y'all have a 2-game win streak. You know how you got that? You know how you got that 2-game win streak? It's called a red eye from Toronto to Dulles Airport that Sacramento and Toronto had to go through in the last 2 days. They both played you on the second night of back-to-back after flying from Toronto internationally through customs to get to Washington at 3 a.m. in the morning on Saturday morning, Friday night. Yeah, the Kings had to do the same damn thing. And they're a playoff team, and they got beat by the Wizards after making that trip back-to-back from Pearson to Dulles. So, yeah, you tell me. How should I feel? Well, the Kings just got the same thing happen to them by the Wizards because the schedule makers just feel like being nice to Wizards and setting them up with some crazy back-to-backs where we got to come in there and do that. This schedule's so manipulative. It really, really is. The normal Raptors would have kicked the shit out of the Wizards last night. I would say this right now. If we had one of the barbecue guys, just one of them, Scotty, Manuel, or RJ, it doesn't matter which one, we would have whooped the Wizards last night and taking care of business. This is sad, pathetic. Their team is that bad, and they had almost everybody out there last night. If I was a Wizards fan, I would strongly reconsider. I seriously would, because honestly, they've been paddling in that water around in circles of shittiness for so long with their franchise. It's like, geez, you got to understand, how can there be Wizards fans at this point? They got to be going like the dodo bird. Seriously, anybody who can do that and be a fan of the Wizards for so freaking long, you are a masochist. I have to say that. That's the damn truth. Seriously, that team is hot garbage. And that clown music, David, was for the Wizards. Listen, we partaked in it because we have inexperienced young guys that are going to play out there and they're going to rub off on our energy. And all of a sudden, we got Wizards clown car energy. Let's just turn over the ball in weird ways. Miss some free throws. That's all losing culture shit. And the Wizards got it in spades. Yeah, they got it. And we don't want nothing to do with that. That's why we got to practice our good winning culture, our good winning habits, and making free throws, taking care of the ball, converting on high percentage shots. There was a lot of stuff where the Wizards would get right next to the basket. And they were right there, Rashawn Holmes. And he would miss a layup. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're so bad. We can't lose to them. They are so bad. I kept saying that during the game in the Facebook chat of our group. I'm like, yeah, they can't lose to them. They are so bad. It's so bad. I don't even understand how we could lose to them. They are so bad. Well, we figured it out. And honestly, like I said in my title for this stream, it is an accomplishment that we managed to lose to the Wizards last night. They are so horrible. It's easy to beat them. Let's just put it that way. It's very easy to beat them. But Kelly Olynyk want to throw the ball to a little kid in the fourth row in the corner of the court. Yeah, that'll help us lose. Kelly, throw it. Yeah, lofted. Oh, I lofted it. It lofted. I must have opened the window. It just the air picked it up and went woo way over there to little Sally in the 10th row. Yeah, she caught it. It's just shit like that. And I also wonder about Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown, you're a weird agent of subterfuge. Yeah, I'm wondering about you, my guy. There's a little bit of weird stuff going on. There's a little bit of weird stuff going on right now. Yeah. Nako, I don't blame you for liking the OKC game much more. Yeah, that was poor basketball last night. I'm glad a lot of people tuned out and didn't watch the Raptors season for the rest of the season right now because they don't need to see this horror show. And the real ones like us, we'll go in there and watch it still, and we'll tell the tales later. But the game was fun in some ways too. The announce crew is just getting so much better and better and better. Alvin Williams, you are a badass. You're telling more and more stories. You're having better guests. The stuff that you guys were doing a history lesson last night, talking about the Raptors, talking about Kyle Lowry when he first got swept by the Wizards in the playoffs, when he first arrived in Toronto, and what he said to his old head, Alvin Williams, his mentor. He said, I don't like this, and I'm going to go work out this summer. I'm going to get all this baby fat off my big ass. And I'm going to come back next year fit. And he did. And they came back better than ever. And we started building the culture and the winning, the Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, Jonas Valanciunas, Terrence Ross era. Yeah, I love that history lesson. I love Kyle's story from Alvin's words. Alvin telling the story of like what Kyle said to him. That's amazing. And they even went way back and talked about Alvin's experience in the playoffs in 2001 against AI and the Philadelphia 76ers. For an old Raptors fan like me, when Alvin Williams and Matt Devlin are talking about the old times, it brings me back. Alvin talking about how, getting in the playoffs and doing what you do in the playoffs is not, you should not take it for granted. Trust me. I got there in 2001 and I never got back there again for the rest of my career. So players really need to take postseason appearances and chances very seriously and go forward with it. I just love those guys. Alvin's been saying really funny, witty, little, like goofy little things he says too. Like he's saying, put that English on there like the muffin. And he has little catchy phrases these days that are absolutely hilarious too. And yeah, they're jokes. They're jokes. They're pure jokes, Matt Devlin and Alvin Williams. And I just love it. There's times in the game where it's degenerating a little bit and they are just cracking up and they're having a good time no matter what. Yeah, it's weird that they put them so far away from the court. It's like I feel like they're sitting up in the media gondola of the Capital Plus Arena or whatever bullshit corporate sponsor they got for Washington now. Yeah, they're like not near the court. They're not sitting on the court when they watch this game. They're way the fuck in the 300 level, like the overhang, looking down. Why do you do that, Washington? It's not like y'all have like a sold out crowd. It's not like you need that real estate next to the court for a high-priced people to pay. Nobody's fucking coming to your games. So let Matt Devlin and Alvin Williams sit next to the court. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Oh, my gosh, that's funny. Name is saying, oof, that was close. We almost effed around and won that game. I know. Good job, guys. Good job. Seriously. I'm really, all right, let's do the score right now. Because honestly, I'm proud of myself. I got the score margin right. 3 points. I knew it would be a 3-point game. And Washington would win. I actually knew this because I knew the Raptors were going to kind of do weird shit at the end to make sure they won in some weird little underhanded ways. And so I was right, but I was 10 points off on both of them. I had them at, I said 99 to 102. Well, it ended up being 109 to 112. So I was 10 points off on both. So I was 20 points off the score. So I did not do well at this, but I'm impressed that I got the numbers right. 99 and 2 and 3-point margin. It's just they were 10 points more by both teams, 109 to 112. Now, Monique she added her score later because she was in the stream, and I talked to her in the stream, the chat yesterday. She had it at 116.88 for the Raptors, so she had the not the best prediction last night. Seymour, second to last with the predictions, 27 points off, Sheriff. You have this streak of winning this game this week, and now in the last two, you haven't done as well. Mari and myself tied with 20 points off. Trevor J, 18 points off. I got his score later. And we found out Trevor was blocked from the channel. Moderators, stop clicking stuff by accident. You blocked the commissioner of fun from our stream yesterday, who's extremely pissed off. And he thought that I was mad at him. So I had to fix things with our commissioner, because y'all can't be blocking people behind my back and me not knowing that y'all did this. Y'all need to stop clicking stuff by accident. If you do click something by accident, you need to tell me immediately so I can make sure that Trevor's not blocked or somebody else that matters to his channel. Seriously, if somebody blocked him on purpose, well, that's no good too. So if it's accidental, that's fine, but don't do that shit. And seriously, if you do click something by accident, fix it or tell me and I will fix it, okay? Because I don't like this. Trevor thought, he was really pissed. He thought that something happened and he was like, I'm not going to watch the channel anymore. And no, I don't want that to happen. I don't want good people to leave, people that are awesome for this channel, because somebody misclicked and banned them from my channel all of a sudden. I hate that. I hate that. 6th and 7th tied, Fiercey and Smooth. Both were 15 points off the score. Dana, 13 points off the score. Nako in 4th, 11 points off the score. Dana, your top 5. Cowboy, 3rd place, 10 points off the score. Chris, close again. Chris was got the score for the OKC game. He's 2nd in this one, 9 points off the score. And G won the score challenge last night. He was only 5 points off the score. He said 110 to 108, and that's really good, honestly. 5 points off is pretty good. Good job, G. G winning the score prediction challenge for last night in the Wizards game. So good stuff. Good stuff. Trevor J is here. Good morning, Raptors family. We lose, but we still win on the next one. Let's go. Brooklyn tomorrow. I'll have the preview in the morning, and I'll have all the injuries, the latest lineup news, and the ref report, and tell you all the percentages of how we win under the 3 refs that we get for the game against Dennis Schroeder and the Brooklyn Nets, visiting the Toronto Raptors here at Scotiabank Arena tomorrow night. So, yeah. I'll have all the preview stuff for you tomorrow. Yeah, all right, let's do the classic card of the day. This is how it works, y'all. And I'm going to show a basketball card on the screen, and whoever writes the full name in the chat first gets 100 points towards the Raptor Freak trivia score. So, let's see what's in the box today. I'm picking a card at random from the box, the Cosmic card, classic card of the day. And I will look at it, and then, I will see who will get this. We'll see what happens here. All right, let me scroll down to the bottom here so that I can see y'all's answers. And yeah, this is going to be easy. This is going to be easy. In some ways, I don't know. I'll cover up his name. All right, this is cool. And I'll even do the music because there's a logo on this card that's kind of cool. All right, so here we go. It's coming from the bottom. Whoever writes it in first is going to get the points. All right, let's see. Oh, I got to get all the way to the bottom of this. All right, here, hang on. Here we go. Who is that? I'm just singing the song because of the logo in the corner. Michael Jordan is wrong. Grant Hill is wrong. Doug Christie is wrong. John Starks is right. That is Knicks legend John Starks on an NBA on NBC card. And it says on the back, actually, I can't read that print right now. I'm going to have to get glasses, at least reading glasses. Yeah, I can't read it. It's all small and stupid. Here, maybe y'all can read it. I can read it off the TV better. Game 1, Knicks versus Bulls, Eastern Conference Finals. In a game that matched the top 2 teams in the Eastern Conference, John Starks came out to prove that the New York Knicks could handle the 2-time defending NBA champs from Chicago. The fiery guard sank 5 shots from behind the 3-point arc and totaled 75 points in an important 25 points. That's not 75, Lex. Come on, he didn't score 75. In an important 98-90 win over the Bulls, May 23rd, 1993. Wow, so that's like 30 years ago, 31 years ago in May, John Stark. So it is Smooth who got it, right? Smooth got it first. I got to see who wrote it in first. Yeah, Smooth got it once again. Smooth is the man on the... Wait, he spelled it wrong. I'm not going to give it to Smooth because he spelled that horribly. John Stacks. Spell correct got you. I'm going to give it to Race Mode because Race Mode got it right. John Starks. I just saw that. You wrote John Stacks. Maybe he did make stacks of money, but his name is Starks, and he used to work at an IGA grocery. Yeah. We're going to say Race Mode won today. Smooth, no issue here just because you did technically say John Stacks. I'll adjudicate this as Trevor J feels I should, but I feel like Kareem's here. Good to see Kareem Thomas, 2023 dunk leader for our channel. Ironically, we got to treat Gary as we did with Norman Powell. Powell had some very bad stretches as a Raptor, but you can see the incredible upside. Trent is a great role player. Re-sign Gary. Well, I like that Darko said that, well, Gary can do other things for us other than hit threes. But honestly, man, I don't know. In some ways, I go back and forth on how I feel about Gary's future with us. Jordan Bolton's on Twitter last night saying, really going to get paid by someone, because he sees how much he's exploding all of a sudden. I'm saying things like this during the game when I'm watching Gary. I'm like, this is the Gary I wanted to see all season. Why haven't we seen this Gary all season? Okay, is he doing this shit just at the end of the season to try and fucking get a better contract this summer? I have suspicions about this. I'm like, what the fuck? Where was this shit earlier, Gary? Is what I'm saying. In some ways, I get it. There's less guys around like Scotty and OG and Pascal taking the shots and taking the opportunities. But honestly, your opportunities were there all season. You just fucking missed them. Seriously. I mean, that's the way I look at it, Kareem. You may be high on keeping Gary, but in some ways, I'm pissed at him because I saw an inconsistency this whole season, and all of a sudden it's coming around right now. And it's not even that high level either in some ways. The shit that he was doing last night to make his points is not going to fly against top teams in this league. That shit was just because of the Wizards. And he has experience, and he's like, oh, I can do this down low against them. When is Gary Trent going to be able to get so many points in the paint any other game in the year? Seriously, answer me that. How the fuck is Gary going to get 12 points in the paint like he did last night against a team like, I don't know, let's pick New Orleans? Seriously, Jonas and Zion Williamson down there. There's no way. So in some ways, I think it's fool's gold what we got from Gary. I think we got fool's gold from him. Of course, a game against the Wizards, it could very well be this. Now, they sat him on Friday against OKC, and he may have been the plan all along to have him rested so he doesn't play both nights of the back-to-back, lower back stiffness, sure. But he saw Grady do some amazing things on Friday night. And in some ways, that can light a fire in your ass if you're a little bit hurt and you're sitting out, that you need to get out there and get on the court because this young rookie may be coming to take your spot. So I don't know. There's all kinds of ways I could look at this. As far as like Gary stepping up and get 30 points last night all of a sudden. Where were the 30 points in January? Where was the 30 points in November? Where was the 30 points in December? That's what I'm asking Gary. All of a sudden you can do it now at the end. It's kind of like somebody who had a group project that you work with them, and all of a sudden they're throwing their little bit of the work right at the end of turning it in. In some ways, he frustrates the hell out of me. If he wants more than $20 million a year, I don't want to pay him for the Toronto Raptors. That's what I'll say right now. I don't think, in some ways, him and Bruce Brown, the same thing. I don't know if I want to pay either one of them $22 million a year for what they give us. Do we want to give a bench role player a bunch of money like that? Kareem, that's what I'm wondering. And these are the questions and these are the negotiations I got to figure out. Once again, we got to remember Gary Trent Jr. is represented by Rich Paul. Blech. Yeah, we ain't happy with clutch people. No, we're not. We are not happy with clutch people. That's right. Dana's saying, good morning, everyone. What a game. Great loss. On to the next one. Let's go Raptors. There you go. Dana's enthusiastic about losing. And only for right now, Dana. Don't get used to it. We'll do this for the last 12 games of the season. And then next year, as soon as we're done with the season, we click back to winning culture and doing everything in the winning ways and not practicing losing. No. And that's not what we're doing right now. We're strategically losing for a pick reason. And in some ways, teams have done this throughout the history of the NBA at different times. Maybe not all the way through the whole season. That's a crazy idea and stupid. Everybody wanted to do that. But when you have your best player break their hand, what are you going to do? Scotty is our guy to get us to play in. When Scotty's gone, we don't really have a good chance. So you got to go the other direction. That's why the philosophy of being a flexible front office that Bobby and Masai really value is really good, because there's different paths we can go down depending on how things go. So, yeah, Scotty is very interesting. Russell Westbrook. I'm hearing that news that Russell Westbrook will be coming back from his broken hand next week. Now, this is the thing. I'm going to say this. Scotty and Russell broke their hands the same day. They had surgery the same day. And I was going to gauge Scotty's timetable by Russell, because in some ways they have very similar injuries, similar procedures, and a very, very exact timeline at the same time. So, I even said, Russell's older And Scotty's a young guy. He might heal faster than Russell. Well, if Russell's ready to come back next week, it could be that on the down low, Scotty is actually ready to come play too. Because in some ways, like I said, they have a very similar, same injury, same procedure. And if Russell's coming back next week, well, is there a chance that Scotty comes back and he tries again? I don't think so. And I'll say this why is because we picked our direction last night for the rest of the season. We don't want to jerk this around. Scotty comes back, we're going to win games. And in some ways, if Scotty comes back, that may not be in our best interest to keep our top 6 pick. So, in some ways, I'm like, okay, Russell needs to come back because the Clippers need him for a playoff run. And in some ways, we don't need Scotty to come back right now. He can go ahead and take the rest of the season off. So, in some ways, maybe Scott could be ready next week on the down low. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah. Let's see. Kareem saying, Drady Gick is really growing on me. Pause. Yeah. Okay. You didn't want to say it the other way. It's more effect. Yeah, there's all kinds of phrasing, Archer phrasing, and go on with Grady's name all over the place. I've seen that Matt Devlin's using the name Grady more than Dick at this point. It's almost like Matt Devlin didn't realize his last name means phallus. And at the beginning of the season, he's saying Dick for 3, Dick going downtown for Dick, shit like that. He was saying crazy phrases. Well, he switched to saying Grady more often now. It could be that the NBA mandated something. He's like, oh no, Black Dick. That's horrible. Why did they do that, those young people? That is just so pornographic. Why did they do that? And maybe they told all the announcers around the NBA, when you're dealing with Grady Dick, say his first name more than his last name, please. Please just do that. Grady, you're such a shit disturber with your name. Just your name, just the existence of Grady Dick is a shit disturber and kind of a big FU. Dana, one finger salute to Adam Silver in the NBA. And I love it. He can control all his career if he wants to in little ways. And it's just his name, guys. Come on. You're the dirty-minded one. You're the one going there. It's not him. He can't help it. His mom's name is Carmen Dick, okay? Carmen Dick. So just let them have their name. It's a family name. You ever heard of Andy Dick? Come on. There's other people that have that. Philip K. Dick. There's a lot of dicks out there. Come on now. Come on. Pause, Lex. Pause now. Pause now. Dana's laughing. Kareem saying, I know we are in the business of losing. No, we're not. Just currently. Just for a very short period of time right now. But sometimes it just doesn't feel right, especially against the Wizards. Anyways, being bad feels pretty good. No, don't get used to this, Kareem. Please don't. Please don't. No, it is very unnatural feeling what happened last night. Very unnatural. In some ways, we should be sweeping the Wizards this year. They were the last shitty team in the league that we had not lost to this year. We lost to every single other shitty team this year. San Antonio, Detroit, Charlotte. Well, now we've lost to Washington. We've caught them all, Ash. We got to catch them all. Pokemon collecting losses to the shittiest teams in the league. Well, we added Washington to have the full trainer collection Pokemon bullshit. Yeah, it sucks. I hate it. It was unnatural. In some ways, I despise losing last night. In some ways, there were times during the game, it's like, we can't lose to this pile of shit called the Washington Wizards. No, we can't lose to this. Why? And we did. And we did. We managed to do it. It's like the A team. Dun, 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 dun. Hannibal's at the end saying, I love it when a plan comes together. We lost. We wanted to. Why does it hurt so bad? Why does this feel so unnatural? It really does feel unnatural, my guy. We should not be losing the Wizards like that. And we better beat them 20 straight after this, just to cleanse our palate of bullshit losing to them last night. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Naka's saying we need more shooters than just Grady. We shouldn't try to lose Gary, but I see him as the most expendable starter. It's all about that, Scott Foster. It's about the money, Nako. We got to see what Rich Paul is going to do. He got greedy last summer when we dealt with him, whether it was Nick, whether it was Fred. So I'm just saying, I know the track record of that fucking agency. Yeah, Gary's going to be asking for some crazy ass shit that honestly he didn't earn this year. He did not earn a good contract this year, the way he played this year. So if somebody else wants to pay him more money, if they're going to outbid us, so be it. At this point, we could get somebody younger and cheaper that could probably do the exact same shit that he does. I know that some of y'all, Jimmy Pope may be mad at me for saying that, but I'm just thinking about cost efficiency. I'm thinking about how much you got to pay that man in the next contract and what is he going to give us night in, night out consistently. And in some ways, I don't trust him to consistently show up to games and give us the output that he's supposed to. There's been so much flakiness with Gary this year as far as the way he's played this year. If he played like last year in January, where he had like 6 30-point games in a row, I'd be like, throw the money bags at him. But he has not revisited or regained that glory of January of 2023 when he absolutely was electric and scoring like crazy. And think about the guys who were on the team with him at that time, Siakam, Anunoby, and all those guys. Fred, they're taking the shots from him too. And he still managed to get 30. How the fuck can't get scores on this team this year when we've been crying out for him to step up and score? That's what I'm saying. In some ways, we got to think about the money and how much of a pie he does actually deserve. I don't think he deserves a huge contract in some ways. And maybe somebody else will pay him more than he's actually worth. I don't want to make that mistake as the Raptors franchise. And I know Bobby Messiah are thinking the same way that I'm thinking right now. Seriously. There are a lot of shooters in this league, Nako. There's young shooters. And in some ways, listen, the confidence of Grady, the way he was hitting threes at the beginning of this game, the way he opened up the game last night and was just bombing, I was like, okay, yeah, Grady's ready. Grady's leveling up quicker and quicker every single time. And yeah, in some ways, look, as much as Norman had to go and Gary came in as the new model, it's like my brother and some other friends of mine, my friend Kevin, they don't keep the same vehicle. They have the vehicle for like 2 or 3 years on a lease, and then they trade it in and get a newer model. You know, there's a little bit of that. I don't mean to commoditize and make these guys products, but this is just the damn truth. You know, sometimes younger players, you know, they are on cheap contracts because they're on younger players. They're rookie contracts. Well, when they get out of the rookie contracts, they start getting the bigger numbers. Well, you got to figure out what are they worth and how much will they saddle our salary cap and what they are producing for us. In some ways, I don't trust Gary to fulfill the money we may pay him. We may pay him a certain amount, and I don't think we'll get the value of it necessarily because he just doesn't show that he's going to bring the same thing every night. That's the problem I have right there. That's the problem right there. Yeah. Kareem saying Gary drank way too much Sprite last night to be attempting that dunk. He didn't obey his thirst. All right, Kareem, you're trying to make me laugh. That is good. That's funny, actually. He didn't obey his thirst. He didn't drink enough Sprite. That's why he didn't get up over the rim. He's going to be on TNT with Shaq. And Shaq's like, oh, Gary Trent coming to the basket. And then boom, oh, and everybody's laughing at him. Yeah, he's on Shaq the Fool. That dunk will get him on Shaq the Fool. And, well, if he didn't drink enough Sprite, he didn't drink enough Sprite. You're going to get a dunk, my guy. This is how Kareem wins the dunk contest. He's just witty. All right, I'm going to give you – should I give him 3, guys? Or I'll give him 3. You got 87 dunks now. You got a three-pointer. Because, honestly, you even put a little Sprite endorsement in there. I'm sure NBA loves that. Any kind of corporate product placement, you go ahead, Kareem. That's a big thing for Adam Silver. Now that we got Emirates all over the referees' shirts, all of a sudden, mysteriously after All-Star break. Yeah, that was weird. These big red things on all the refs' jerseys now. I'm like, Emirates Airlines. Yeah. Trevor's saying, who should get a chance to be on the roster next year? Jordan, Ramsey, Oshai, and Jonte, so they can be our second unit. Yeah, I like that group. That's the group that I like too. Jamias, Jamias for sure. He looks more and more like, to me, he looks so much like Leandro Barboza. I watch him, the way he dribbles and goes up and down the court. I'm like, is that Brazilian world guy coming back? Is Jamias Ramsey actually Leandro Barboza with new hair? It's like Leandro Barboza was sitting at home. You know, honey, I think I could still play. If, I went out there, I played. They won't let you come play. You're too old, Barboza. I'm going to assume a new identity. And he changes his hair and he shows up and he's like, hi, Raptors. I'm Jamias Ramsey. Okay, Jamias, come on out. I swear, in some ways he looks a lot like Leandro Barboza with a different hairstyle and even his body type and the way he plays and he dribbles. So I don't know. That was a silly story I just made up. But old Raptors fans will probably laugh at it because they love Leandro from back in the day. Leandro. Yeah, I like that list. Oshai's impressing me more and more with his strength and his tenacity and his getting after it. He may not be hitting his shots right now, but there's a lot of things that Abaji is doing. Like the block shots are really impressive. Holy crap, he had a really good block last night. There were a couple of really good blocks. Moji came in and had his little segment of things where he got a block and then a dunk. And that's all he did. He came out and did that. And in some ways, it's like, I'm sure Darko is like, you know what? Listen, you screwed up so bad in Oklahoma City game. We're going to give you a little bit of time, but just be perfect. And he did. He went out there and played perfect for 3 minutes, got a block and a dunk, and didn't come back in the game for the rest of the game. Those are baby steps, Mohamedou. You got to do it that way. You got to be just a little good each time, and be just as good as you can. But yeah, I like what you're saying. I'm a little worried about Jonte missing games so often and being sick often, injury prone. It's a little annoying about Jonte Porter that he wasn't available yesterday all of a sudden at the last minute. That's a little annoying. But honestly, the talents and the skill set and the stuff that he's shown, yeah, he's a keeper, even if he's going to be injury prone. It's a little annoying. It's a little annoying. Yeah. Yeah. And I love the Buffalo kid, the B-Low guy. Yeah, he's fun. He's fiery. He's got a lot of skills. All right, let me go with the 5 stars of the game and talk about him a little bit more. As I said, Gary, or there's 3. I'm only giving 3 stars because honestly, you lost the Wizards and it's pathetic. Gary Trent, my number 1 star of the game. Ochai Agbaji is my 2nd star, 6 of 12 from the field. He did miss all 5 of his 3-point attempts. None of the Raptors were shooting well from 3 overall, except for Grady, kind of. 2 for 2 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block for, wait, no, that's Grady's line I'm reading. Ochai, 6 of 12, 0 for 5 from 3, 0 for 3 from free throw. And there was bad free throw misses by the Raptors, but Gary was 10 for 10, 5 offensive rebounds for Agbaji. That's a big thing that I liked last night. 9 altogether, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks that were fantastic, and 12 points. Yeah, I mean, Agbaji is just a force. He's a very physical guy. I wish he was a couple of inches taller, but man, he is an NBA player. And even like on that dunk that he made in the game last night, you see the athleticism of him because he's attacking from the baseline and he comes up and he's going up around on that rim. He's like, yeah, and he's like up above the rim with his head and he's like hanging on it. Like, oh man, that dunk was awesome, along with the block in the first half too. Yeah, Abaji's an athletic stud. And in some ways, I want to see him play for the Raptors next year, too, because honestly, he's got a defensive side to him that's very valuable. And if he just starts hitting his 3 more consistently, wow, he's going to be really, really good for us. So in some ways, like, look, that's another one where you could look at. It's like you're going to put that money less, pay Ochai less, or pay Gary more. In some ways, that's something you got to look at. Some ways you got to look at it that way. The 3rd star I'm going to give is to Jamias Ramsey. I'm going to give it to him. He got his first start ever in the NBA. In some ways, he got shafted with the minutes later on, though. He may have started, but he played less minutes than Bruce Brown and Javon Freeman-Liberty. Only 18 minutes for Jamias, but he was actually really impressive. He had a couple of threes that looked really, really good. 3 for 5 from the field, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, a +9 in this shitty-ass game with only 8 points. Honestly, Jamias would have scored way, way more if Darko had gone away from him. There were huge stints in the game where Jamias didn't get a lot of minutes. 18 minutes is all. In some ways, I hate the 33 minutes for Bruce Brown off the bench. A lot of the Bruce Brown minutes were late in the game, and he's playing in clutch because he's vet. But if y'all aren't trying to win, why don't you let Ramsey be out there for the end of the game and kind of go through the motions, get late game experience in a close game? Because in some ways, I don't agree with Bruce Brown playing so much. I know some people on Twitter were upset that Jordan Wara wasn't in there instead of Bruce Brown, and I can get behind that too. I can get behind anybody out there instead of Bruce Brown, honestly. In fact, at the beginning of the game, we kicked so much ass. We were beating the Wizards bad, and then we put Bruce Brown in, and everything went to shit, and they took the lead. It's like, oh, man, that sucks. I'll give honorable mention to Kelly Olynyk for a double-double, 14 points and 10 assists. Darko highlighting Kelly's assisting and passing last night. Very proud of Kelly for getting the 10 assists. That was important to Darko, and he was very appreciative of Kelly. Grady had a good game, too. It wasn't that he was horrible, and he could be honorable mention. He could have been one of my stars, too. 6 of 13, 3 of 8 from 3. He made both of his free throws, and they were really clutch late ones. And at one point, the second one, he shot with them in the lane, and he didn't even care. They just shot it, and he made it, and the refs were like, yeah, who cares? He made it, even though it was a lane violation. 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block for Grady, and also 17 points. So, yeah, I can give honorable mention to Olynyk and Dick, but I just can't give 5 stars for a game like last night. I just can't. It's just, you can't do that. Cowboys here. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. Good morning to you, Canadian Cowboy. Always good to see you in the morning on the stream. Kareem saying, we all know once Gary's headband came off, everything goes downhill from there. PTSD, Brooke Lopez, headband fiasco. Kareem got up with the funny bone working. Yeah, I get what you're saying. You're making an allusion to the game where crazy-ass Brooke Lopez, one of those freaking goon Lopez twins, went to Gary and grabbed his headband. It's like he was talking to it, like it was an object that was alive. And that it's like he said something after the game was what Brook Lopez said. The headband, I didn't like it. It said something to me I didn't like. Yeah, he needs, maybe I don't know. There's something wrong with Brook Lopez. But yeah, I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I like your joke though. I already gave you a 3-pointer though. But you're on fire today, Kareem. You are on fire. You got some good ones today. All right, let's see how y'all said on the poll. So 57% of y'all think that we will win one more game this season. All right. So there's two that think it'll be 2 wins, and one person thinks we'll get 3+ wins before the end of the season. Nobody thinks we're not going to win again. Okay. Well, so you guys think we'll win at least one more before the end of the season? It could be tomorrow night against Brooklyn at home. Could be against the Wizards when we play them one more time this year. That's right. We still get to play the Wizards one more time this year. We can see what kind of travesty that game will be. And we will play the Nets 2 times still. So there's 2 more Nets games. So the opportunities to win are those 3 games, probably the best chance. Yeah. All right. Thanks for doing the poll. That was a little experiment. I saw it. I was like, yeah, let's put a pre-stream poll out there and see how it goes. Maybe we'll do it more. Cowboys saying the Raptors are scared, have scared me for a moment. I thought we were going to win. It seemed like we should have won for a second there. Cowboy, honestly, I was like, man, this, you know what? This is bad. In some ways, I don't really want to like lose this game, but in some ways, we really need to. It's for the best if we do lose. But I'm like, some of my pride was kicking in. I know a lot of y'all had that feeling too, because we're conditioned to want to win. And when we see something like what happened last night and seeing how it went down, we're all kind of like icky. And we're kind of like, fuck, man. I know it's good that we need to lose, but man, I still don't like this. I think we're all like that right now. I think we're all like that. Tristan's here. Good to see Tristan Trey. Good to see you the other day, Tristan, at the coach's open house in person. Glad to see you this morning, man. Chris is saying, I still think Dick is the 6th man next year. And I do think Gary can lose that 5 pounds as well. Kelly, Zach Edey, Abaji, Dick, and whoever at point guard is decent, but going into another offseason of flexibility. Yeah. I don't know. The picture you're painting, it's probably true. Grady Dick is probably destined to be our 6th man next year. I really do think that the 5th starter that will be added with Barbecue and Yak will be like through the draft or through free agency, if not Gary Trent Jr. I don't know. I feel like that's the one position we can upgrade. Emmanuel and RJ and Scotty are obviously the future, and Jakob is locked in as our center for 3 more years. So 4 of our 5 starting spots are filled. It's really trying to figure out the second guard, the 2 spot that we got to figure out who it should be. And like I said, I don't know if it's just like, hey, it's yours, Gary. We got to see what the front office does. You know, in some ways, them doing an extension with Kelly Olynyk already, solidifying him being on the team for sure. You know, there's some people that could have gotten extensions in the last years or so. They didn't, like Siakam and Trent. And we'll have to see if that's why, is that we're just willing to say, hey, you know, like I said, Gary had a really good game last night. He was 31 points, but Darko was still critical of him after the game. And to me, that sounds like he's not one of his favorites, and that he's a player from the past regime that maybe not long for the new regime that's being built right now. So I can see the signs of it. I love that you put Zach Edey in there. Like you're already presupposing that he's a Raptor. I want that to happen. I really do. Let's see. Trevor's saying, I wonder how many dick pics Grady Dick gets. Nobody needs to wonder that, Trevor. Why are you doing that to your mind? Why would you pollute your head like that? Why would you do that to yourself, Trevor? Are you going to sit there at home and really think about dick pics that Grady gets? That's messed up, bro. You can do better things with your time, Trevor. I love you. Come on now. Go do some go to work. Don't sit at home and do that. That's what I would say. Don't do that. That's a crazy statement, honestly. I don't know. Why did you make me think about that? I don't want to think about that. Seymour saying future is looking on the upside. That's right. He's got Barrett, Barnes, and Quickly. He's got Kelly Olynyk. He's got Mo. He's got me. He's got Darko. He's got Masai, and he's got Grady. That's right, Seymour. I love it. A Cowboy saying 65%. That's right. It's a big jump. It's a big jump because we're getting some separation from the Grizzlies and how bad we are. They won against Spurs, and we've lost 2 since. So yeah, we're getting some distance and a better chance to keep our protected pick from the Spurs this year. I think that this is the best option. This is the way the water's flowing. It's been directed this way. So we need to just go with the river, guys. Chris is saying this team better draft size or else I'm going to be pissed. And if Gary can't rise for a dunk, fine. I can live with it. I'm too fat to dunk myself. Well, yeah, I know you're training to try and dunk again, Chris. Well, you keep trying, reclaim that glory of your youth when you could dunk and you're now older and you want to dunk again. Keep training. You'll get there. I'm with you on this. I'd like them to draft size also. Yeah, I would like that. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be Zach Edey, but if it's a 5 or a 4, I would like it. I feel like, we got Kelly and Yak. So in some ways, it's not necessarily a 5 we need to draft, but Zach would be great as a project coming up. And the synergy between Team Canada and the Raptors, RJ Barrett, Kelly Olynyk, and Zach all together on the Raptors and going to the summer to the Paris Olympics. No, that's all good. It's almost like we get our own little extra training camp of the Olympics, having a few Raptors on Team Canada. I'd say maybe a power forward. We need somebody with some beef, some defense, some length to add up for some of the missing length that we lost in all the trades this year. So, Siakam, Anunoby, Achua, those guys go other places. They're the wingspans. Well, maybe we need a wingspan of some sort. I would say that. Maybe we draft for a wingspan. Maybe a little bit of Vision 6'9" coming back towards us just to make up for all the Vision 6'9" that left this year. As Kenyon said, we're Vision 6'5" now. Vision 6'5" is really working. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Cream saying, Chris, fat shaming Gary Trent, laugh out loud. Instead of losing weight, Gary should consult with Grady on how to grow 5 inches. Now that's just silly. Yeah. I'm not going to say it the way you might want me to say it. Y'all really need to watch out with your phrasing around Grady these days. Yeah. 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 Nobody should be talking about body weights and stuff like that. Although, people are asking, why is Kenny Lofton Jr. not on any team? Well, I can tell you why. Nick Nurse and the Sixers cut him. Yeah. It's his waistline. That's why. Not everybody can be Oliver Miller and Charles Barkley in this league and be a very agile fat man. No, some people are going to say, yeah, you could be better if you just cut a couple weight off. That's what I was saying. All right, let's not talk about weight anymore, guys. Let's not talk about weight. It's just not a good subject. Seymour saying, man has no takeoff like the Migos. Yeah, the Migos takeoff. Oh man, that's a bad joke, Seymour. That's sad. Why would you do that? That man passed away. Why did you do that, Seymour? Oh my gosh, I can't give you a dunk for that. That is just, you're an opportunist on death. That's no good. Nako's saying that I'm praying Alex Sarr is on the board for us. I don't know how likely this is. Now that's the thing, Nako. We're gonna have to get a top 3 pick if we're gonna get anywhere near Alex Sarr, because he's probably gonna go pretty early. We could, though. That's the crazy thing. I say top 6. Well, it could be 1 through 6. We could be number 1. We could be number 2. We could be number 3. It just depends on those lottery ping pong balls and how favorable and nice they want to be to Raptors Nation. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes. Nako, I don't have any pre-designs on anything for this draft. When we find out what pick we're picking, then we can speculate more specifically what the strategy could be with what happens with the picks in the draft. And I'll have my top 5 choices again this year. My favorite 5 to pick from for Bobby and Masai. And we'll see if they pick one of them. They did pick Koloko. That one time when I said Koloko should be our pick 2 years ago, they did pick one of my top 5 picks. But last year they did not. Grady Dick was not one of my choice 5 picks for last year at 13. So we'll have to see. I'll make my 5 this year. We'll see if they pick one of those guys at the position they end up with from the lottery. So we'll have to see. Chris is saying, and Lex, JFL, Moji, and Ramsey, none are ready. Jonte and Nwara are close. If you really look at it, our bench is massive issue going into next year. But with the picks, maybe we can fix it. Well, I'm going to say this once again, Chris. The teams that's playing right now, half of them will not be on our team next year. Half of them will not. And even some of them, maybe more than half of them won't be on our team. It could be very much more flux, once again, just like this whole season, of very much switching different people in and out. It could be depending on how many of the draft picks we keep and how many rookies we got coming in next year. It could be how much spending Masai and Bobby do with their free agency this summer. There could be some names, more veteran kind of guys, more capable guys that are coming in, maybe some more size like you're wishing for through free agency this summer. So there's going to be some turnover of our roster from where it is right now. And honestly, I want that because some of these guys shouldn't be on the Raptors next year. I'm going to say that right now. Some of the people that played for the Raptors last night should not be on a roster next year. And I can name a few of them. You guys probably know who a couple of them are. Yeah. I would say you're right about them, except for Ramsey. I think Ramsey's ready. And the reason why is because he's really dialed in when he's out there. He's really on top of the ball. He's really dogged. And honestly, he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. I don't see him causing a lot of turnovers. If he misses the shot, so be it. But he's doing so much else to contribute that's why I like him. It's like he doesn't have to score, and he's doing good things for us all around. And that's why I like him in some ways. Now, he may over time have to be more consistent, like I'm asking of Gary, as he elevates and maybe gets more slices of the pie offensively. But yeah, I will agree with you about JFL and Moji. They are not ready to play in the NBA. Jonte and Wara's ready. Wara's been in the league. He's never really been a G League guy. Jonte is just hurt all the time. He could play in the NBA right now. And Ramsey, I think he's pretty much ready. In some ways, he has the most promise out of those guards off the bench right now, whether it's DJ Carton or JFL. Jamias Ramsey has the most promise. Nako likes JFL's defense. Yeah. I mean, once again, I'm not high on him. Y'all know this. A lot of the stuff that, like, what did he do last night? This is another great game for JFL to just go off and do crazy shit. What did he do? 1 for 5 last night, guys. 0 for 2 from 3. He did make both of his free throws, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. So he did contribute in other ways. The rebounds are great. The assists are great. The steals are great. But only 4 points in 23 minutes. You're known as a scorer, JFL. And in some ways, man, I mean, I know y'all may like the guy, but I'm just like, I don't see a future for him with the Raptors. In fact, I don't want to hold up a spot on the roster for him next year. I really don't. In some ways, I could see JFL being like a Malachi Flynn kind of problem for us in the future. If we tie him up with any kind of contract, yeah. Do you guys want another guy that's like Malachi on our team, just kind of hanging around like that? Very similar kind of output, just kind of like, why is he on our team? Oh, he's going to fail for us when he comes out. Yeah, I don't want that. I could see Freeman Liberty being that kind of guy, that he'll come in and, like, you know, you guys are enchanted by his scoring prowess in the G League this year, but it doesn't translate, is what I've been trying to say the last couple of weeks, and actually all year. I've been saying JFL's offensive game in the G League does not translate to the big league and the bigger people in the big league. He can do all the shit he does in the G League and score 40, but he's not going to ever do that in the NBA. And that's why it's fool's gold. Y'all thinking that, oh, he's so great, we should just put him on the team. Well, he can't do it. He had all the chances in the world last night. He's 1 for 5. He got 4 points, y'all. Seriously, he can't do it. If he's so badass, he should have got 20 or 30 last night. Seriously. But he can't. He can't. Chris is saying, Cream, look, first plantar fasciitis, now a bad back, all points to carrying too much weight. All right, but seriously, Chris, in some ways, all right, there's a lot of body shaming and body objectivity and people talking about people's bodies out there that's unnecessary. And I know you're joking and you think this is funny, but there is people that get triggered by this, talking about people's bodies, and we may need to be more sensitive to that. And maybe I'm being overly woke, but in some ways, talking about somebody's body shape and size just for jokes is not cool, is what I'll say right now. I know I've let you do this all season, and you haven't let it go. You just keep bringing it up. It's a tired joke. It's silly. And in some ways, we don't need to body shame people or say this or the weight. I know I'm a hypocrite because I just said what I said about Kenny Lofton Jr., but still, in some ways, the topic of people's bodies and weights, especially with the WNBA, we don't need to be doing this. All right. In some ways, it's a minefield of folly. And just in some ways, it's just not a good look. We shouldn't be commenting on people's weights, especially if it's a joke with Gary and stuff like that. It's fine, I guess. But over time, it's just like, let's not make this a trend or something normal is what I would say, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why you won't let this joke go, honestly. Monique is saying, here, good to see you, Superfan Monique. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Thrilled for Gary. Good effort by all stars of the game. Gary, Ramsey, Kelly, and Grady. See, she has different ones than me. I had Oshai. This is interesting. Usually Monique and I have the same stars pretty much, but she's got Gary, Jamias, Kelly Olynyk, and Grady Dick. Yeah, those are good ones. Those are good ones, Mo. Good to see you this morning, and I hope you're doing really good this morning. Cowboy saying, Sheriff, that's so wrong. And Fiercely said, good morning, fam, and happy Sunday. I thought we had a chance at some point, but no. Oh, of course we had a chance. We should have won, Fiercely. We were playing with them. You might as well just call us the cat with the mouse, pawing with it. And all of a sudden, Tom just felt like rolling over and letting Jerry get the pin. Yeah, it's a little bit like that last night in some ways. I mean, sure, Kuzma was really out of pocket last night. He was being very dirty and crazy. Some of the stuff, the hits he was putting on people were very dangerous and wrong. And in some ways, I wish they'd thrown him out. And Jordan Poole mysteriously just slipping for no reason on the floor. That's just something he does these days. Like he just mysteriously slips this season. It's just all of a sudden he's dribbling and he's just on the floor. It's like his namesake. He found a pool on the floor and he slipped in it. Yeah, he did that again last night. It was really weird. And they tried to call a foul on it. I was like, that's not a foul. That's that dude just slips all the time. Jordan Poole is like is literally his name. He's not Splash Brother anymore. So he just slips on pools of water or condensation on the court. It's apropos. Apropos. Very apropos. Yeah, I don't know. One thing I will say about the Wizards last night, all five of their starters chipped in and helped contribute to them winning last night at different times. Whether it's Rashawn Holmes being very dominant early and getting points in the paint because we don't have anybody in there to guard like Jakob would be there normally. And then you got Kispert sneaking in and getting points throughout the game, whether it's a three in the corner or a little sneaky basket coming in the rim. Jordan Poole did not play well for most of the game, and he kind of like half-assed his game, but he did end up getting the double digits and getting 18 points somehow, some way, but he didn't shoot that well. He did have 12 assists too. And Avdija, he was actually their best player. 8 of 19 for him, 3 of 8 from 3, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 22 points for Denny. Yeah, they had contributions from all 5 starters, and they all ended up in double digits by the end of the game, and they were key to why they won. They really were. Marvin Bagley III coming off the bench, that's a luxury. Honestly, I wish we had Marvin Bagley on our team because I know the blue chip of him being a number 2 pick and the promise of him is actually still in his body. And maybe he's just a late bloomer. And that may be a really smart guy for somebody to try and go snatch up because he's all of a sudden he's going to blow up and be really good. I could see that with Marvin Bagley. I feel like part of it is what they said on the broadcast, that he's just been on really shitty teams and he really hasn't got the right opportunity. I think that dude's going to be good still. In some ways, he's very similar to Wiseman, that both these guys were in the wrong situations. They just haven't found the right one yet. And Marvin Bagley, if he doesn't stay with the Wizards, he could go somewhere and he might blow up in the next place he's at. I'm going to predict that right now because he's moving really well and his size is really good and his athleticism. So, yeah, that would be a guy, if he showed up for our team next year and he was one of the size guys we're talking about, Chris, adding to our team, I'd be very happy with that, Marvin Bagley III, because he's a very, very good NBA player in some ways. And he has something he's about to do with his career. I have a feeling he's about to level up. I can feel it. I can feel it watching him last night. I could see it. Let's see. Race Mode saying, did I read the title correctly? 10-game losing streak. Definitely interesting times to be a Raptors fan. No, this is true. We have a 10-game losing streak. In some ways, I wanted to streak bust our losing streak last night and win this one just to cut it in half. This losing streak could be extended pretty far. If we really want to lose every single game for the rest of the season, that's a 22-game losing streak. And that's crazy. At some point, maybe we should break it up just a little bit, just so we're not in some sort of weird history book for our franchise or for the NBA in general. I was thinking maybe they break it up last night and say, yeah, we're going to win this one. But no, 65% chance to keep our pick. Okay, I'm okay with that. But that's what I'm saying. We win, that's going to make that percentage go down to keep our pick. So if we're going to L all the way out, that's 22 games in a row. Wow. That's like we played the first 60 games of the season, seriously. And then the rest of the season, not at all. Not at all. That's right. Let's see. Seymour saying, I have a question. What the fuck did Norman Powell do to get moved for this construction worker? If it was just a gamble, I get it. But this was not what we needed. Norm would drop consistent 40 with this group, 100%. What it could have should have is an important part of what you're saying, and we can't do that. We've got to look at it this way. Norman was online to get a bigger contract, and this is the same thing that's happening with Gary right now. In fact, Gary is Norman now. Let's just put it that way. Norman, in some ways, they looked at the slice of the pie. He was going to demand. He's a champion. He's a part of our championship crew. He deserves to get paid, just like Fred, just like OG, just like Pascal. They're all going to get paid. And, well, we don't need to pay the price for what he gives us for that price. Go ahead, trade him to Portland, get Gary Trent Jr., a replacement, a younger replacement that you can pay less because he's younger and he's on rookie scale contract. That's smart. In some ways, it's time for us to do that again. That's why I was saying the leased car analogy. It's like I just found out the other day, my brother just got a new truck again. I'm like, well, he just trades his truck in every 3 years and gets a newer model. Well, that's kind of what this is. That Gary's price tag's going to go up this summer. Well, let's pay somebody cheaper. And maybe they'll give us just about the same output, is what I would say. So it is what it is. I don't regret doing what we did with Norman because it was the right move at that time for the money and what we needed to do. And in some ways, well, it may be the same thing at this point with Gary. We'll have to see. It won't be a trade, obviously. It'll have to be like it's just a free agency decision. We didn't re-up with him and he walked and went somewhere else. Now, anybody's going to say, oh, no, we lost Gary for nothing. Will anybody say that? Seriously, if Gary Trent Jr. is not on our team this year, there will be some people that may say that. Oh, we lost Gary for nothing. Yeah, but what was he doing? What did we lose? Inconsistency? Come on, man. Seriously. What did we lose? Seriously. Let's see. Kareem saying, MSJ, we have to sign Gary up to Weight Watchers. Okay, y'all. I'm saying, or get him some doses of Ozempic. I don't even know what that is. But for real, I don't think him losing 5 pounds would have deferred him from plantar fasciitis or back pains. I really do think the bad free throw shooting of Gary at the beginning of the season and that dunk that he missed last night is the plantar fasciitis, is that he's having a really hard time planting off his feet in some ways. We saw it even with his jump shot. In years past playing for the Raptors, Gary would get elevation off jumping off his jump shot. You'd actually maybe see a little bit of daylight underneath his feet. Now he's shooting very flat-footed on the ground. I really do feel like he's struggled with this issue a lot more than we think. On the down low, that in some ways he said in the interview last night, we've all been playing hurt and we all just play. We don't complain. We just try and come out there and win. Well, I could speculate that maybe the plantar fasciitis has hurt his elevation or his ability to jump. And that's part of the reason why he's been missing layups, getting his shit blocked when he goes to the basket, whether he's hitting the rim like he did last night on that dunk attempt. So, and you can see it in his jump shot. When he's shooting, he's not getting the same kind of elevation he might have in the first stint in Tampa, his half season then, or even in the year after that. It's like he doesn't have any lift. I don't understand it exactly. And that dunk was part of it right there. His lift is a little weird right now. Something's wrong with it. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what Ozempic is. I don't know what that is. G saying, Gary has back spasms. This hurts any sort of athleticism. Ben Simmons sat out for this. Gary plays through it. I like that G's standing up for him. And congratulations, G, on getting the closest score to the game last night. You were 5 points off altogether. That's pretty good, man. All right. I like that you're standing up for Gary. And maybe it is more the back spasms than the plantar fasciitis. Maybe. And I like that you used Ben Simmons as a context to judge against. Yeah, okay. I want to give Gary more respect if he's not sitting out like Ben Simmons for the same thing. Fiercely saying at Seymour, I think Norm was expecting more money, but we weren't going to pay. Of course, that's what it is. That's the whole reason why OG's in New York right now. That's the whole reason why Pascal's in Indiana. That's the reason why Fred took $43 million to play for Houston. Fred had an amazing game last night, and the Rockets are one of the hottest teams in the league right now. In fact, they're threatening the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Lakers to jump into the play-in and knock one of them out completely of the play-in spot. I love this, Fred. Go get it. Go get it. I don't like Ime Udoka. A lot of the Rockets team I do not like, but I love Fred, and I want to see Fred spoil either Steph or LeBron's postseason dreams. Rockets, keep rocketing up and get into the play-in. Knock one of those old lazy-ass teams out. The Lakers or the Warriors. I will love you for it. Oh, my gosh, the NBA is so pissed that the Rockets get in there and knock the Lakers completely out of the playoffs. That would be so funny. So you go, Fred. And the streaking Houston Rockets right now. Fred with excellence last night. He was like 10 for 15 from 3 last night, y'all. And all y'all hated Fred. You dumbasses that hated Fred and ran his ass out of our town. You fucking idiots that were after Fred last year. You dumbasses. Look at Fred. Fred's a master. Fred's a badass. Fred's a GOAT. Fred's an NBA champion with the Toronto Raptors. We love Fred forever. And people that think Fred's just some little short munchkin chucker, fuck you. Fred VanVleet is a top-level NBA player, and he's running that Rockets team badass right now. That's right. That's right. We don't tolerate Fred hate here at the Raptor Freak channel. No, we don't. We love Freddie, and I'm very happy to see what he's doing. But that money, Norman wanted it, and these other guys want it too. Gary's going to want it too. Gary's going to want it too. That's the thing. Seymour saying, glad you guys like him, but I'm not a fan of his. I'm for the team. Raptors over everything. There you go. That's the same that I am also, Seymour. Team first. Team first. Masai first. Darko first. Players after that, Scotty, one of the top, very much first people as far as players. Yeah. But yeah, if it's not good for the team, if you're not acting in good faith for the team, you're not doing things as good for the team, sunning people, Justin Champagny. I don't want you on my team. Yeah, no, I don't. It was interesting to see Justin play against us last night. Really just a brief cameo. Really no Raptor killing going on by Shea Pangy, our former player, rookie with Scotty back in the day. What do? You got 3 minutes and that's it. You got a rebound and an assist and that's it. A -3. Justin Champagny coming in, but at least he's got a spot on a team. I got to give him credit for that. This league is tough, and he's clawed his way to getting a spot on the Wizards. So I'm happy for Justin in that way. I am. I am. All right, let's see. Seymour saying that part, Fiercey, he blings off court on the bench and has no shine on the court. Yeah, I'm wondering about what's going on with him in some ways. I don't want to over speculate Gary today too much. In some ways, we're going to say he was the player of the game last night for the Raptors. He did his best. A lot of what he did was great. He's played better in the last couple games, but we're all wondering where the fuck this was before. And that's basically what I'm saying. Shere Khan's here, Raptor Freak Rookie of the Year last year. Shere Khan, good to see you, the all-star of the Raptors Tonight chat. Always asking Randy Urban the best questions on the post-game show. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Have to be honest here. Really don't like this at all. Raptors going 1-11 is super tough to swallow. No real floor general at all, but we're primed to reclaim our pick this year, so that's something. Yeah, Shere Khan, I get it. A lot of us are very winning oriented and results oriented, and we don't like losing. I'm with you on this, but it is our best interest to lose right now. And that's the way you got to put your mindset in this. And only realize also this is temporary and keep the part of you that hates it alive. And when we get done with this season, immediately switch back to that one. It's just while this regular season is still going on, Shere Khan, we're just going to have to ride this out the way it is. It's in our best interest. Trust me. It really, really is. In some ways, it's just like the Spurs last year. The Spurs Nation was just really in a bad place, and they hated it. They're used to a lot of winning, obviously. And, they had to keep their eyes on the prize, and that was Victor. So in some ways, we got to do the same. We got to try and protect this pick. And it may go against your normal feelings and how you feel, but it's just for now. And as soon as this season ends in Miami for the Raptors this season, we will switch back that old mindset, Shere Khan, I promise. The winning mindset, the winning attitude is just for right now. Yeah, 1-11, that's tough. That is tough. It's not easy. And especially with a stupid-ass game like last night. Yeah. Monique saying, Wizards will always be trash. Prayers for Quickly family, sad news. We found out yesterday the personal news of the tragedy in Quickly's family. His uncle died of cancer. It's sad. He actually posted the funeral arrangements on his Instagram stories in Maryland and Aberdeen. So yeah, I hate hearing this. I know that, we've got tragedy and sadness for RJ, obviously with his younger brother passing recently, and now IQ dealing with his uncle dying. I do speculate this though. If IQ wasn't on a team that's really in the shitter and not doing so well, maybe he would have gone and maybe not missed so many games if it was really in the playoff push. I could speculate that, but I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know how close he was with his uncle. But, man, I hate hearing this. This is awful. This is sad. And, we don't want to hear any more sadness and personal reasons for people missing games, like our two former New York Knicks on our Raptors right now. Yeah, I don't like hearing it. And prayers and all kinds of thoughts and prayers for the Quickly family, his uncle that passed, and everybody cared about him. Yeah, I hate hearing this kind of stuff. G saying, I didn't want Norm traded at all. This is why the money stuff from MLSC concerns me at times, but we keep moving and see how they manage those upcoming contracts. Yeah. But this is the way the NBA model is at this point, G. Our old head mentality cannot be carried over into this point. It may be back in the day, you try to keep cores together and really invest in guys and have a core together for 10 years, the Bulls and all these other classic teams are really, really good back in the 90s. But that model's dead. In some ways, you have to have renewal constantly in the NBA at this point to compete. And part of it is because of salary caps and able to keep guys. The salaries have ballooned into such crazy places that unless you're really good with salary cap balancing and paying into the tax or even knowing loopholes or extra exemptions, you can't. It's hard to put the pieces together to get the absolute best team you can have. In fact, I'm seeing it in teams like Sacramento and OKC recently that we just played, that their benches are not as good as they were 2 years ago. And I feel like it's partly starting the start of the salary cap rules from last summer. Everybody's trying to angle and get in the right place for that. And in some ways, the way to do that is to get cheap youth to fill out your roster and hope that they are talented and they play above their pay grade. In some ways, you want to get a Precious Achua and pay them $3 million a year and get like an amazing amount of minutes and output from them because they're so young and they're on rookie scale. So some of it is a cost-cutting thing that just doesn't allow for you to invest in long-term vets anymore. And it's not just MLSE. It's across the league. So if you're worried about it just being a specific problem for us because our ownership is tightwads, that's not true. It's the new rules of the salary cap. And you can see it that the depth of the Kings and the Thunder is not as good as it was like even last year, because they've had to make cost-cutting moves with role players that are off the bench that normally teams that really want to win will invest in, but they can't because they have to think about the new cap rules. So it's interesting. And in some ways, Bobby and Masai, they live on the moon, as I've said before. We can talk about how to do a GM job in the NBA, but we have no fucking idea. We don't know how the gravity and the air is on the moon where these men live. They live on the moon. They do things on the moon, and we don't know what life on the moon is like as a GM in the NBA. We can speculate and say, oh, I wish we'd kept Gary. We could have done this. We could have done that. We could have done this. We could have saved Norm, but we don't know what they dealt with in those rooms where they make the decisions and they see all the parameters, all the specific things they got to deal with all the rules, the NBA, the money, the agents, the different things that they have to work with to do what they do in their jobs. Once again, I'll say this to every couch potato GM that's on social media telling the Raptors how to run their team. You guys have no idea how it is to live on the moon and be in that job. Y'all have an unrealistic idea of what it is, and you really don't understand what they have to deal with specifically and realistically to be able to make moves in this league. It's not like, oh, they should have just gotten Durant. They should have just gotten Dame Lillard last summer. You don't know if that was even anywhere near realistic. That's the problem with all the fans. They think they know better than the front office. They don't realistically know the job. And I think that's part of it. In some ways, I don't think we could have done that with Norman. I agreed with what we did when we did that move. I thought that Gary was a great, new, young, dynamic player to come in and try out and develop further. In some ways, he's been one of the longest standing Raptors at this point. There's Chris, there's Gary, and then there's Scotty. There's only three guys. There's two guys that have been here longer than Scotty at this point. In some ways, those two other guys that have not been here have been here longer than Scotty, they may need to go this summer. And the writing's on the wall. And then Scotty can say, I've been on this team the longest, and this is my team. In some ways, he can really be that leader and say, yeah, I'm the senior guy here. If Gary and Chris say hasta la vista this summer, think about it from that perspective also. That could be it. Scotty did not mention Gary or Chris's names in the team guys that he's impressed with he's watching right now. Maybe it's because partly they've been here for a while, but maybe Scotty knows something too. Maybe Scotty knows something too about what the front office intends to do this summer. I'll be sad to say goodbye to both those guys. They've been great Raptors while they've been here. But I think it really is true that we're going to cut loose Boucher and Trent, and Scotty will be the most senior Raptor after that this summer. Yeah, it'll be very interesting. Fiercely saying, I feel like I've been watching actors. It can't be real. No way we stink that bad. Well, honestly, our team is really not that talented with the lineup we're putting out there. There's a lot of guys that should probably be playing in G League and not in the NBA. There's some guys that are very young that have not got a lot of experience like Grady Dick. And, Kelly Olynyk is a goofy player. In some ways, he has his limitations. He has his strengths. But, it's just how it is. It's just how it is. And, you feel like they're actors? No, it's them. But it's not the most talented version of the Raptors. That's for sure. Bloopers basketball. Yeah. Yeah, very much a clown show. Yeah, and that it is insulting, but it's apropos to some of the craziness that was going on the court around that time. The ball was loose on the floor, and guys are falling all over the place. It looks just like a clown show, just like a clown show. Let's see. Kareem saying the Raptors broadcasts sometimes are so disengaged from the game, it kind of sounds like a podcast show. Even when times are tough, the dynamic of our casting crew is amazing. Well, honestly, in some ways, I get that. I feel like they had JYD on the game the other day, partly because they wanted some distraction from the product that's going on in the court. In some ways, Alvin's history lessons recently have been fantastic. But you know what? I feel like what they're doing is Matt Devlin specifically. He's very much taking the crusade to help Raptors fans deal with what we're currently doing. In some ways, he's trying to explain things to people so that they understand why things are the way they are. And I love that. That's the important thing for the broadcaster to do, is to educate the people about the product and where we're at. If casual fans aren't watching the Raptors very often, they show up and they watch the game last night. Well, Matt Devlin can kind of tell them where they're at. And I love that he's doing some of the stuff that I do on this channel on the broadcast. He's trying to give a positive light and slant to things so that people are informed and they don't start getting on ledges and getting all crazy about us losing so much. In some ways, they have to be realistic in informing the audience about the current state of the Raptors, but they also have to balance the product being attractive for people to watch. So it's a tough thing. It's a tough balance. And in some ways, these guys got to be jokes. In some ways, an old head like me enjoys the old stories of Alvin talking about playing with Vince and Oakley and all those old guys. You know, there's a lot of good stuff about that kind of stuff. It's educating the young fans about the history. And maybe somebody will go watch some of the old highlights from Alvin Williams playing for the Raptors, partly because of us talking about it. So I don't know. It's a weird thing, the broadcast. And you're right. They do disengage from the game at times and they don't cover it. They get kind of good in their own tangents and just start talking about stuff. I'm not totally upset by that because honestly, these games in some ways do not deserve the respect of them calling it intensely. And I find more entertainment value from them being kind of loose like that or on a podcast, as you put it. Yeah. Trevor's saying we're going to see the Washington Wizards one more time. Yeah. Will we try and get revenge or will we even the series with them in the quest to keep our pick? We'll have to see. Chris is saying, I can still watch, no problem. I like basketball, and the losing has no effect on me. And you're right. Listening to Alvin helps. He's been easier to listen as of late. He's a funny guy. He's just witty, and he has his kind of his sayings and stuff. Like, I really love when he says stuff like he put English on that like a muffin. He had one last night that was like, oh, my gosh. He really just said, I can't remember it off the top of my head. But, yeah, Alvin's awesome. Alvin is so awesome. And, you know, at the beginning of the game, in some ways, Matt Devlin was making fun of the Wizards. He was saying a whole bunch of stuff before the pregame. He was saying some funny stuff. He's talking about how they're a franchise that just hasn't gotten anywhere. And then they're really sad and pathetic. It was making me laugh. It's really making me laugh. Let's see. Cowboys saying, we don't stink, Fiercey. It's all part of the plan. We could have beaten them if we wanted to. Trust the Messiah. I think that's very true. In some ways, we really did pull punches last night. In some ways, there was some really curious free throw misses. There's some very curious turnovers in the last 5 minutes of the game, like that Kelly Olynyk pass that I'm talking about, where he threw it into the crowd. You know, Bruce Brown did some funny stuff near the end of the game that made us lose in some ways. I didn't like the last shot that we got. Bruce Brown taking that shot, I didn't like that look. He's not the right guy to take that shot. Grady's out there. Gary's out there. Come on. Why are you letting Bruce shoot the last shot? No, there's a lot of things we could have done differently to get a different outcome. We didn't play as hard either near the end. Wizards were trying really hard. In some ways, they don't care about where they're at in the standings. They just want to win because they need to win, because they thirst for it. They've had so much losing, so much agony. Yeah, they needed to win, and they figured out a way to claw to it. Yeah. Shirkan's saying, the only reason I'm still tuning in to watch the Raptors is the same for watching 905. I want to see the development of Ramsey, JFL, Oshai, and Wara showing some glimpses of what they can bring to next year's roster. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know why I watched the 905 yesterday. In fact, let's cover that game real quick. I'll do my stars for that game real fast. It's so annoying, the 905. They play so bad. And Eric Curry, oh my gosh, you just pissed me off, bro. Like, you keep things going pretty good for most of the game. Let me look at the game cast again. Well, actually, no. You lost the game in the second quarter. You know, things were kind of close after halftime, but they separated from y'all, and they made y'all look bad by the end, and you lost by 20. The Wisconsin Herd is not a winning team, and they're fighting to just barely make the G League playoffs. And meanwhile, the 905 are just garbage. Honestly, Eric Curry, man, you only have 2 more games to coach for the Raptors 905. On Wednesday against Motor City here in Mississauga, and then on Friday against Motor City again. And hopefully those will be the last 2 games you ever coach in the Raptors organization on any kind of level. Because I'm just, man, the post-game interview with Eric Curry was a minute and a half, and it was so pathetic. Horrible questions, and just he looks so depressed and sad. And yeah, I get it, man. In some ways, this has been a fail, bro. This has absolutely been a fail. And your guys are getting up to the big league, Mo and JFL, and they're doing the same bullshit mistakes that they did with you all year on 905 on the big level. It's like when you train people on 905, you got to train them to play ethical basketball. You got to train them to go after loose balls. You got to train them to make their free throws. You got to train them to play in a professional way. And we have seen these guys come up and they don't play in a professional way on the big league because you didn't prepare them correctly, Eric Curry. And that pisses me off. That's why I want an experienced coach. I want to coach this old head that knows how to make players do the right things and get them the right habits down there. Because Eric Curry don't know the difference between good and bad habits, and he can't get them to develop and go towards the good habits. They just reinforce bad habits over and over again down on 905 all season. And the way they lose and the things they do. Listen to these splits. Seriously, this is what the Raptors 905 did yesterday. They shot 37% from the field. That's not very good. That's their field goal percentage. That's not their threes. That is their overall field goal percentage. They shot 47% from the free throw line. That is absolute hot garbage. They shot under 50% from the free throw line. And once again, I'll remind everyone, the G League free throws are worth more than 1 point each. So that even in just that, Eric Curry, these guys are not valuing like 2 or 3 points when they get to the free throw line because they're missing their free throws left and right. And then the 3-point shooting, 19%, 6 of 31 from 3. These guys aren't shooting. They aren't doing things right. And 18 turnovers to boot. 20-point loss to Wisconsin Herd. My 3 stars of the game, Daryl Morsell being the vet off the bench, the longest standing 905, just having some pride. 8 of 15 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 1 of 3 from the free throw line, though, Daryl. 1 rebound, 5 assists, 1 steal, and 19 points in 30 minutes, leading scorer for the 905. Daryl Morsell off the bench should not be your leading scorer, Raptors 905. There's something wrong when Daryl Morsell is your leading scorer. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm telling you right now. The second star of the game is Jonte Porter in a time machine 2 years ago. Jalen Delaire is the newest 905er, and he really does look like a younger, skinnier Jonte Porter out there. And he does pretty good, honestly. He's got a lot of skills that are similar to Jonte's. 6 of 11 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3, 1 of 4 at the free throw line. Once again, he's one of the guilty parties. 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 15 points in 28 minutes. Yeah, Delaire was a bright spot in the game yesterday. One of the very few bright spots in the game yesterday. And then my final star for the Raptors 905 and their losing effort, Omari Moore in the starting lineup, shot well, 6 of 9 from the field, 13 points, 1 of 2 from the 3-point line, missed both his free throw attempts. I don't know how many points he missed from that. 6 rebounds, 4 assists, a little bit of stat stuffing by Omari Moore. But once again, he's the worst plus minus, a minus 29 in the game. Yeah. Justice Winslow, 4 for 14, 11 points, garbage. Yeah, it's just really bad. McCurr, 2 of 9 for 5. Kevin O'Banner, 1 of 10, 0 for 5 from 3, 5 points, minus 22 plus minus. Kobe Simmons, 2 for 10, 0 for 3 from 3, 8 points. Really bad. Miles Burns, you're masquerading, bro. You may be a G League player. I don't know. You maybe just be a fancy dunker. I don't even know if you're a good basketball player, Miles Burns. I feel like you may need to go to Europe. Seriously. Drake Jeffries, absolutely false advertising as a 3-point shooting threat. 0 for 2. Just horrible 3-point shooting all season from Drake Jeffries. Just fail, and more fail. 2 more fails, and then you're out of here, Eric K. And I'm predicting right now that next season, the Raptors 905 will be coached by Ivo Siminovic. Darko's Serbian assistant coach right now that works with Grady and Gary. I'm picking him out of the assistant coaches. I think he'll get sent down there to run that team next. And I hope he does, because he's a really good coach. I saw the coach's open house, how he interacts with the players, and he's very instructional. He's very stern. He obviously has coach's experience, unlike Eric Curry. So I fully endorse Evo to be the next 905 coach once this fucking office pencil pusher is fucking done with this team. Golly, Eric Curry was a big, huge fail. I still feel like Nick Nurse is like, yeah, Messiah, you want to make Eric Curry the 905 coach? Yeah, that's great. That's great. I love that idea. Yeah. And down low, Nick Nurse is like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. This will make things even worse for the Raptors when I leave. It's a 2-year commitment. Oh, that's the gift they'll keep giving. You can make him the 905 coach this year, and he'll be it next year too. Oh, that's perfect. Do it, Masai. Let Eric try and coach. Nick probably loved that idea because he knew he's leaving, and he knew it would be a fuckery for us. Yeah, he probably loved that idea. Jeez Louise. But yeah, it's pretty bad, Shere Khan. Did you watch the whole 905 game yesterday? Kudos to you. I did too. And I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Fiercely saying, I think IQ's personal reasons was a passing. Saw his Instagram story. No, that is. No, we got it. It's his uncle. We found that out yesterday. His uncle had cancer and he passed away. Yeah. Seymour saying, I believe that Canadian Cowboy we lost on purpose. Probably. Well, I'm not going to say that out loud. Smooth saying, I can tell you this. The front office is not going to subject the fan base to another season like this. We're going to try our damnedest to try not to. In some ways, what's happening this year is the fallout from Nick Nurse's fuckery. There's a lot of it. There's also, it's the transitioning of new eras. It's like, look, Scotty showed up after Lowry left. And that was kind of the big signal of the new era starting when we drafted Scotty and he came here as a rookie. Now, we tried Scotty with part of the old era for a couple of years. And, well, it just wasn't working or clicking exactly right. So the new era is officially going to really, really start next year. And this year was a transitory year of half of the old era with Siakam and Anunoby being around. And then, like, the fallout afterwards. So, yeah, it's going to be a totally different kind of feel and everything. All kinds of different ways. In some ways, Darko will be more experienced after 1 year of being a head coach. Also, he'll have more time to set up this summer. If you think about how long our coach's search took last summer, he was scrambling in a lot of different ways. And it's all new. It's so new, hitting the ground like that and getting adjusted to living in Toronto, having your family here, getting your new coaches staff and figuring out the culture and getting to working relationships with guys like Pat Delaney and all these guys. Yeah, there's a lot of a learning curve and orientation that Darko was doing at the same time while everything else was going on that we could see ourselves. So I feel like he'll be better prepared this summer. In some ways, he's been working with Bobby and Masai on the vision that he has for his offense and what he wants to do. And they're making moves more with him in mind. I think it's obvious that getting people like Jonte Porter or going and getting quickly and Barrett in a trade has been partly with the input of people like Darko and Scotty. That those guys are telling Masai and Bobby a little bit of like what their vision is and what's realistic, and they're all working together. So that's the thing. We're starting to make moves at the New Year's of this year to go in the direction where we're going. It wasn't even last summer or last fall in preseason that we started moving in this new era. It was when we made the trade of Anunoby to New York, and we got Barrett in quickly. That really did signal the new era starting. So it's going to take some time, and they're going to do better this year coming up, hopefully because of health and upgrades from this offseason. And once again, they say in the broadcast, they're doing a good job of educating everybody that don't be surprised. Alvin said this specifically, that you can get gains from guys just going out this offseason and improving their games. And we can talk about Scotty last summer and how he came back this year. We'll look at him possibly doing that again this year with a couple more leaps in his game. And then somebody like Grady, seriously, we're seeing him do stuff every single game that's absolutely high level and making us go, wow. Like he has a wow moment every single game where I'm like, wow, that really impressed me. That really impressed me what young Grady just did. So he could have a similar kind of development jumps off the offseason and the work he puts in, and that can add up to more wins in our win total. Matt Devlin's scoping it out and saying, look, last year this team, when it was healthy, was a play-in team. And you can reason out that if we're healthy for most of next year and we don't switch our roster over like crazy like we did this year, that we are projected to be a play-in team, if not possibly a low-end playoff team. So I don't think that's unrealistic to say. I mean, you could look at the Wizards and their current state of affairs, their roster, their money, their opportunities and flexibility this summer. You can say, yeah, they're going to be exactly where they were this year, next year. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what it is right there. Yeah. Space Cadet saying, would love to see Fred knock out the Warriors from playoff contention. Wouldn't that be fun, Space Cadet? That'd be awesome. You go, Fred. Part of it's the resurgent, the uptick of Jalen Green recently has been powerful. He's playing very, very better, like much more efficient. He's scoring higher, and Fred has a lot to do with it. Fred's really mentoring Jalen Green, and he's getting him to play a little bit more less wild and more efficient. and it's really paying off dividends. That's a big reason why they're winning. Plus, the coach is another reason too. The coach is a big part of it too. Let's see. G saying, when we start winning again, we will remember these chats the most. Yeah, I mean, listen, we've been on a journey, G. You and I specifically, like a lot of us have been here since the beginning. And when I started this channel, I'll have 1,000 days in a row that I've done a live stream at some point this summer, guys, and we'll celebrate it. We're gonna have a party. 1,000 days in a row, I've come on live to talk about the Raptors every morning, and every morning's been a little bit different. And some of this stuff has been weird, some of it has been amazing, and some of it has been angry. Some of it has been sad. Some of it's been a little weird, like right now. Yeah, we've had different feelings every morning when we get up and we're Raptor fans and the ever-changing world that's happened. I mean, I've covered the last 3 seasons of Scotty, and since he showed up, and since Tampa, and yeah, there's been a lot of things that happened in those 3 years. That's for sure. It's crazy to think, G. We've watched 3 seasons of Raptors basketball together now after this season. It's really crazy. Seymour saying 100% not sure who did that. Trevor J. Sorry, broski. Yeah, I don't know who did that either. I know that Isaac at one point pocket blocked somebody once in his phone in his pocket. I'm not going to accuse anybody. I'm just going to ask each one of you guys that have a wrench to wield it a little bit more responsibility. And if you do something and you don't know how to fix it, bring it to my attention so I can fix it. Trevor was left outside yesterday of the chat, and he felt like he was being punished or something wrong and what happened, and he was mad at us. I was like, Trevor, no, it was a mistake. Nobody did that on purpose. We love you. You're our commissioner of fun, and you're very vital, very, very vital. Yeah, so I've made Trevor a mod. I gave him a wrench today to make sure this never, ever happens again. In some ways, he should have had a mod already. He is a big part of this channel. Cowboys saying Trevor J got blocked. Holy shit. Yeah, that was no good. That was no good. That's why he wasn't in the chat yesterday. I was like, Trevor's always here. Why is he not here? It's like I got to do the classic cosmic card of the day that he commissions. And he wasn't here. And that was why. That was why. He was blocked by accident. And that's no good. Fiercely saying, I hear you at Cowboy. We're way better than that, which is why the intentional losing is so suspicious. We deserve Oscars. I mean, any little reason for guys to sit out. Any little reason. That's right. Name is saying winning last night would make me want to gargle Drano. I mean, listen, if we had won the game at the very end of the game, I mean, it would have been nice to win again, break the streak. But also at the same time, I would have been like, we should have just lost to them. Come on. So in some ways, I'm very happy about the success of losing to them. We deserve Oscars. That's right. Alley-oop to Fiercey. Yeah, she gets a dunk for saying that we deserve Oscars for acting like we're trying to win right now. That's 60 dunks for Fiercey this year. That's fantastic. Let's see. Kareem. Oh, yeah, these are the guesses for the card. John Starks was the right answer. And I'm going to give it to race mode because Smooth, you said John Stacks. John Stacks. That's too bad. That's too bad. John Starks, John Stanks. Man, you guys were really getting crazy. Slug Deezy, big ups. Good to see you, my guy. Yeah, he knew that was John Starks. Let's see. Cream saying, sorry, I was, hang on. It jumped all the way to the end. Of course, it always does that to me. Where was it? Where am I? Wow, you guys really fill it up. There's quite a few things to talk about today, I see. This is good. All right, where are the guesses here? Holy crap. All right, I'm going to need a cutoff for sure, guys. Sorry, I was naming players that remind me of the song before I seen the card. I almost wrote Grant Hill as well. Yeah, MSJ saying, I thought it was a fat Reggie Miller, laugh out loud. You thought, see, what is it with you and this stuff? No, John Starks would be mad at you if you called him Reggie Miller. They were like enemies. They hated each other. Let's see. Seymour saying, well, my internet is too slow. Why, Shaw? Why did you sell out to Rogers? You wanted to write it in and get it in there first. Fiercely saying, Lex, I thought it was the Entertainment Tonight anthem. No. No, that's is that the Entertainment? John Tesh, the NBA on NBC theme, which hopefully will be on again soon when Milbester was really big on this. Remember, he's like, I can't wait for NBC to get the TV contract from ABC again so we can hear that Boss anthem by John Tesh again. Yeah, no. Entertainment Tonight is like it's similar. It's similar. And I think he did both of them. So that's why. Because he was on Entertainment Tonight, John Tesh. Hi, Entertainment Tonight with John Tesh and Mary Hart. Da, 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 da. No, that's NBA NBC. I don't remember the Entertainment Tonight theme all of a sudden now. But they're close. They're very close. Slug Deezy saying, "No, it was me, Lex. You can't ban him. You don't have a wrench. How did you do that?" No problem. All right, let's see. Seymour saying, "It looked like Monte Ellis for a minute." That's actually a pretty good comparison. He does kind of look like Monte Ellis. I'll say that. Yeah, he looks a lot like Monte Ellis. He's older than Monte Ellis, though. Let's see. Slug Deezy saying, "I was first." You saying you were first? Nah, not on my chat, my guy. You are like third. Let me see. How many are you down? Let's see. We got Race Mode number 1. Kareem, you can't just put Starks. You actually are third. Race Mode said it first, and then Seymour was second, and Slug Deezy was third on my thing. It's the way it looks right there. I can only go by what I said. Lex said Rin job. Ha ha ha. All right now. Grady has really made us immature at this point. Pause. Race Mode saying weird because I see me over Smooth. Yeah, you guys can debate this, but I'm just gonna go by what I see because I'm running the game. It is going to be a Race Mode Daily is going to get it. Yeah, you got it. You actually he had it above you, but he misspelled it. He wrote John something else. He didn't write Starks. He wrote a different word. So let's see. It does that sometimes. Fiercely saying, Lex, according to NBA Chef, front office is having a hard time trading Gary. This has been an issue for a couple of years. If it is true, why is his trade value that bad to the point no other team wants him? I don't think this is totally true. You know what it could very well be is they tried to trade him, but they didn't get the offers they liked. I know that the Lakers have shown interest in him. In fact, there were a lot of rumors this year that he was going to get traded to the Lakers around trade deadline, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen. It could be that things aren't lining up right. Well, if things aren't lining up with trades, that doesn't have anything to do with free agency. He's going to just have to see who's in the market to pay him what this summer, and he'll have to figure out his business that way. And yeah, because he's got Rich Paul representing him, I'm like, that's not who I like to deal with. That's not who I like to deal with. But yeah, trade value, it may be just because two sides aren't seeing the same thing and they're not lining up. Fiercely saying, we all know why. It's pretty obvious. What? No other team wants him? I don't know. I don't know why. G saying, I see Smooth first. Sometimes it shows it differently for the user. He is first, but he misspelled the name. And I'm going to be really nitpicky because Smooth Brown Man has been getting a lot of points from this game. And I want to be the person who gets it right. Yeah, gets it right. Smooth saying, according to Doug Smith, the Raptors will re-sign Gary Trent for $15 to $16 million a year for 3 years, leaving the door open to trade him. Now, I like this deal. I think this is perfect. If this is what Doug Smith is saying, I didn't hear this, but I'll believe Smooth, and it sounds accurate. I would do this. If he can get him at that price, I'll do it. And it's a very tradable contract, as you said. So yeah, 3 years for 15 and 16 million. That's not that bad. That's just a little bit more than Chris makes. And I'm okay with that. That's a great price. If we can do that, I'm all for it. I don't want to pay him over 20 million. If we can get him for 15 to 16 million a year, that's good. I will do this. Name is saying, I think Darko could have whooped the Wizards last night if he wanted to anyways, even with our current construction. Oh yeah, our system was winning. Their team sucks. Oh my gosh, they're so bad. The way they miss close shots, the way they turn the ball over all crazy, the way they're casual, the way Kyle Kuzma is such a weirdo and such a piece of crap. And Jordan Poole is a fake. You know, he was so propped up when he was on the Warriors. Well, he got cast away. And now we see who he is. He's not this top level golden boy that's coming up in the league to take over and be a superstar. No, he's not. He's a fake. And Kyle Kuzma is a joke too. In some ways, I had more respect for Kyle Kuzma going in the game. And then I saw some dirtiness, some attitude. I saw the way he played last night. And I'm like, I lost respect for you, Kyle. I have lost respect for you tonight. And some of it is because of dirty, cheap shots. Sure, Kelly flopped and slid across the floor a little extra because that's what he does. But he wants to make sure the refs get notice of seeing contact. Kelly was flopping around a little bit. If Kelly catches a flop fine from last night, I won't be surprised. Fiercely saying, the amount of years Gary has been playing, I agree, something is off. Everyone has their timeline to flourish, but unfortunately, I anticipate a faster leap for Grady. I think it really is on the down low injuries, whether it's a back injury, like we said, or plantar fasciitis. It's not weight. Um, I think that on the down low this year has been a hurt year for Gary on the down low overall, and that he hasn't felt that well all year. And that's been a big part of his output. So, man, in some ways it's crazy because Gary's so young and he's played so many years in the league already that he is really like a vet, even though we got to remember he's only like 24 or something. He's not a very old guy. Cowboys saying yes, yes, and yes, nameless. All right. James is saying Gary Trent's best attribute is he can get off his shot quick. I've seen him make some tough shots. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I've said this recently on the stream. He's like DeMar. He always wants to go get harder shots. In fact, that's part of why he thrived under Nick, is because Nick did ISO so much that he had to really push himself against defenders up close, double teams, and he was doing shit that Darko's just not allowing. I'm so happy about this. This is a big difference from Nick Nurse to Darko Rajakovic. Nick didn't care if Gary shot off of 1 foot, off balance, falling over. And Gary can make those shots. Like I said, DeRozan and him like high degree difficulty shots over defenders close to him. It drove me nuts about old DeMar too, behind me in the bobblehead there. He would be trying to make harder shots for himself in his tenure for the Raptors over that long period of time DeMar was on our team. I'm like, DeMar, why don't you just make your life easier? Why do you have to have a double team on you? Why do you have to go into the contact? Why can't you make yourself room or something like that? Well, Gary's a similar kind of guy. He steps up and makes the shots more when he has people in his face. In some ways, Darko's system does not want those kind of shots. They don't want the offensive shots that are off 1 foot, off balance. He does not want people to shoot if there's 2 defenders on him. He's demanding they pass to the open guy somewhere else. So that's part of the effect of the change with Gary's game this year is he wants to play difficult shots like DeMar used to, and Darko does not allow it. He's not allowing it. You got to pass it. That's his system. That's his system. Fiercey's got the construction workers out there. This looks like a Scotty Barnes trade school going on in here with Fiercey right here. Yeah, look at the wall, the brick wall that she built. Wait, are you working for Trump? What is this? Look at all the tools and stuff. This is so intricate. Man, this is making me want to sign up for Scotty Barnes trade school. Bruce Brown is like a guy who tell me about it. Yeah, I went to Scotty Barnes trade school, and now I'm a plumber. And that's why I dress like a plumber when I come to the game. There you go, Bruce Brown. There you go. Slug DZ saying, what players interest you from this year's draft? Numero uno and number 1 is the big Purdue Boilermaker, our guy from Toronto, Canadian Yao Ming, Zach Edey. Oh my gosh. If we could get him in the Raptors jersey next year, I would be so happy. He is numero uno on my wish list to be in a Raptor jersey next year is get the big man home. In some ways, we want that kind of size and height to match up eye to eye with people like Wembayama and Holmgren coming into this league. A 7'4" center from Toronto named Zach Edey would be a fantastic player to have on our team. I don't care about foot speed. I don't care about that kind of shit. He can be just as fast up and down the court as Jakob Poeltl. So I think that that's not a problem. And, well, he'd be great to come in and learn under Jakob. In some ways, Jakob's contract duration may very well coincide with a project mentoring Zach a couple of years, and then boom, in some ways we may not need to pay Jakob after that contract, and he can go and get a big contract somewhere else, and Zach is ready to step into his shoes. So that's kind of what I want to do. I want to get a project, and it might as well be our hometown guy, a guy who's tearing it up in the tournament right now. But we'll have to see. His stock may go up, and it may change where he gets drafted, partly on his performance in this March Madness right now. So, but yeah, that's my guy right there, Slug. That's my guy. James says he doesn't have good ball handling. I think he scored 30 yesterday. Not a lot of players could do that. Yeah, I mean, this is true. I don't want to diss Gary too much. It's just that the game last night, like I said, a lot of the shit he was doing next to basket was great, and I'm glad he took the patience to wait the defender out and put the ball in a layup. But those shots aren't there against most of the NBA teams. It's just specifically the Wizards he can do that. That's it. And it's funny because in some ways, Darko kind of knocked him and he's saying, yeah, Gary managed to score all those points without using his 3-point shot this time. That's kind of like a knock in some ways on the down low. Fiercely saying, is there one team we have a winning record against this year? I think we swept one team this year. I don't remember who. You know what? I could go do the research on this, but I don't know if I want to. I think we did go undefeated against one team this year. I'm trying to remember who. I think it's a West team. because we played them twice and we beat them at home and we beat them at their place. I don't remember which one it is though. I'm pretty sure there is one Western team that we did sweep this year. I don't remember which one it is though. James said I would rather have Norman Powell. Well, the price that we paid for it, they paid for him out there and stuff. I get it. I mean, I get wanting to keep players, especially because they have a history with us and it's culture. I mean, we're not allowed to do that compared to a lot of teams for some reason. The Warriors can do it like crazy with Curry and Thompson and Draymond, but we have not been allowed to do that. In some ways, our guys have been plucked away from us. They've been poached from us and very much wanted by other people. And the NBA, they made these things happen. You'd rather have Norman Powell right now than Gary Trent. Well, we paid a lot. We would have paid a lot of money to Norman, and there may have been a lot of other things we couldn't have done if we had done that. Let's see. Cowboys saying Ryan Dunn here. Here we come. You like the guy who was on Jackass, who unfortunately died in a car crash? Bam Margera's best friend. Okay, Ryan Dunn. I don't know. That's a weird draft pick. Seymour saying I was expecting Gary to be a Bane from Memphis, but that was not the case this season. I really do feel like in some ways it's sad. If it's injuries has robbed him of him being more productive, that is so sad. This is like a contract year. This is one maybe his most important year in his young career so far. And man, it just has not gone the way it should have for him. It really hasn't. James is saying Jacoby Walter can be our Gary Trent replacement if we get him in the draft. See, he sees other people that are coming up that could possibly do the same things that Gary does. They're younger for a cheaper price. And that's part of it. Although that Doug Smith deal that was talked about earlier, I would do that. I would do that because I think that that's a fair amount of money to pay him. I don't think it's that much different than what he's paying right now. Honestly, it's not that much different than what he's getting paid right now. Maybe he's just getting the same amount again. He's not going to get an uptick because, well, he didn't show the progress. Seymour saying, James, I'm going to do my research on him. Thanks. Jacoby Walter. You know what? I'll do the scout of the day on this one because this is a name I don't know. So, James, I'm going to go look at Jacoby Walter for blind. I've never seen this player before, and I'm going to give you my first impressions of him. First, we'll look at the Wikipedia page. Jacoby Walter is an American college basketball player for the Baylor Bears. He's a shooting guard. He's 6'5". He's 195 pounds. He's from McKinney, Texas, is where he grew. He went to high school. He's a 5-star recruit. Let's go look at him on YouTube. We'll do the eye test next. All right, Jacoby Walter. Jacoby. That's an interesting name. I wonder if he is named after Kobe Bryant. Walters. All right, let's see. And I don't want any sound. This is from him 4 weeks ago against the Houston Cougars on February the 24th. All right. All right, let's see. Which number is he? He's number 4. Okay, that's a weird bank shot from the side. It looked like he hit the backboard to make that go in. That's a very strange shot. That shows skill if he shot like a side bank shot from like the corner. Okay, from the top, it looks good. He has a nice wingspan, it looks like. I like how long his arms are. Let's see what he does on this play. All right, he catches the ball and he shoots. The defender's running at him. He hits it pretty nice with the guy right in his face and agitating him. It looks like he gets up and down the court pretty good. Let's see on this play. They're bringing the ball up the court, Baylor, and they dump it to him. It looks like they really like to drive and kick to him. They like to get the paint touch, and he'll be sitting in the corner, and they'll launch it out to him on the side, and he'll hit the three. And that's good. That's the money kind of shot. That's very much a Gary Trent kind of thing, like you're saying, James, where he could replace it. There's an inside shot. He kind of went into the body and went up and under. Nice scoring with physicalness around him right next to the basket. Let's see. What's this play? All right, a dribble, a little bit of a head screen, and coming back around and up the top, and boom. Nice in rhythm motion around the screen and right into the shot. Quick release, making it right through the basket. Fundamentally really good. I like that. So, yeah, that's a quick shot. He only took one step to catch it and put it up and put it right in. Yeah, all right. I like what I'm seeing from him as far as his shooting skills. He definitely looks very good fundamentally with his form. Let's see. What was that play? That looks like he was taking an offensive foul or something there. Okay, he's at the free throw line. Let's see his free throw skills. It's not bad. His mechanics aren't bad. He's got some bend to his knees at the free throw line. Yeah, he's looks like a young guy, a young player. He looks a little bit like Thad Young in the face, just a little bit. Like he could be like, no, maybe not. Maybe I'm crazy. All right, yeah, the free throws look good. Yeah, I don't know. I like this kid. He's got a wingspan. He's got a nice fundamental shot, is what I'll say about Jacoby Walter. So yeah, bringing him to our attention. Hey, there's your scout of the day, Jacoby Walter. Nice wingspan, nice fundamental shot. It looks like he's got a good motor too. So yeah, there's your research, Seymour. I just did it. What school is done at? He's at Baylor. Baylor Bears. Baylor Bears. Nameless saying, I'd rather not rush Scotty back the way they're doing with Westbrook or did with OG. Yeah, that's one thing we could think about. I mean, there's no rush to bring him back, and it may be a little dangerous for Russell to come back this quick. But then again, he's older and he's been through this rodeo before. It's not his first rodeo. So, I mean, they have reasons to want Russell Westbrook to come back from the hand injury, the postseason, and we don't really. So, in some ways, it is better for us to just shut him down for the season. Now, Scott himself could be like, no, Masai, I want to play because I only got 60 games and I want to be included for postseason award consideration. And I need 5 more games, Masai. I only played 60 games. So if he kind of forces his way into like the last 5 games of the season because he wants to, I mean, I would listen to him, Masai, if I was you. I'd be like, you know what, my young guy, he's really eager and he wants to go out there, but it really would screw up us trying to lose for the rest of the season. You come out there and he might play like 5 games at the end of the season. And all of a sudden we're above Memphis in the standings. And that's part of it right there too. So we're definitely in different situations. They are trying to rush Westbrook back. And we may not really want Scott to come back this season. Really may not. No, we may not. No. Cool research. Name is saying, don't forget about Dick Van Dyke. What? What? Is he a player? No, you mean from the old TV show? Chim Chimney. Let's see. James saying Jacoby Walter player comparisons Bradley Beal. I would roll the dice on him. I didn't. I honestly watching him. That's not the player comparison I would have. No. He looks bigger than Bradley. He looks bigger. He looks taller, and his wingspan's better than Bradley's too. You know who he'd be like to me? He looks more like a Trey Murphy to me. Like for New Orleans. I know he may not be as tall. That may be the difference. 6'5". Yeah, but in some reason his length looks so long out there. Maybe it's just because of the college game and everybody's short out there and he looks taller than me. I don't know. In some ways, he reminded me of Trey Murphy the third. Does that make any sense? I don't know. Because he's the better 3-point shooting of him and Herb Jones on the Pelicans. Let's see. Trevor J saying NBA Chev said Gary is holding Grady back on the court because Grady's better. Save the bag for Grady. I mean, I'm not going to say those kind of implications. I don't think that's true. I think that Coach Simonovich and Grady and Gary have all worked together very closely, the 3 of them. I know that Gary's talked to Grady a lot about mentoring him and teaching him stuff. In fact, we saw at the coach's open house a little bit of interaction between Grady and Gary, with Gary giving instruction to Grady. I know Gary said very much he's helping Grady. He's teaching him. So I don't think he's trying to hurt him. I think he is very much a good teammate, and he is trying to help Grady get better. Now, he may be a little threatened by him, sure. That may be true, and that's why I was speculating maybe Gary came back last night and played. He could have easily sat last night. In some ways, that would have helped us lose, honestly. Him coming back, I was like, Gary coming back, that's going to help us win more. In some ways, I don't want Gary to come back. But I think Gary wanted to come back because Grady looked so good on Friday. That may be true. That may be true partly there. Yeah. MSJ saying Dick and Abaji, they give me hope our bench can compete next year. And Nwara. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean, Jonte's really a good person to hold on to and have around for our bench too. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to get ahead on this. We always say every year, we're going to have a good bench this year. And then our bench sucks. But Malachi Flynn is gone. So maybe we will have a good bench this year now that Malachi is gone. Because he really was screwing up our bench the worst. The whole time that he was on our team, we had no bench. Seriously, really think about the coinciding of Malachi Flynn on the Raptors and the bench strength of our team. It was Malachi screwing us up. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Let's see. Nako saying, I'm watching PJ Hall footage. Dude looks pretty crafty. Okay, PJ Hall. I'm not gonna watch him yet. I got my one for today. Is Jacoby Walter. MSJ saying, yeah, I like him too. But hey, did you hear Bobo's take on the refs? He ain't wrong. No, I didn't see that article or anything. I don't know what he said, so I can't comment on it. Kareem saying, yeah, it's obvious Gary Trent ain't going to pass Grady the ball. Every shot Grady makes, Trent's value goes down. I don't know if that's true. They're looking out for each other. They're not going to do that. If they do that kind of shit, it'll be obvious to the coaching staff, and that'll very much make them not attractive to keep. You can't do that. Then G League, they can freeze Grady out. Yeah, they've done that this year, but they can't do that this year. They can't do that on the main level. Gary, it will be very obvious if he does, and it will be very bad for him if he does. I'm telling you right now, they won't do that. They won't do that. They're professionals, and they're not petty like that. In some ways, they're very team-oriented guys, and Grady's success is Gary's success and vice versa. G saying, not into college ball much, but we'll be watching our future players, Edie, today at 2:40. Okay, so he's playing his second-round matchup today at 2:40 this afternoon. Purdue Boilermakers. That's my pick. I want them to win the national championship. And Zach E looked real good for it. Yeah, facts. Cowboys saying MSJ probably thinks Taylor Swift needs to lose 5 pounds. Yeah, I don't know about this, the weight thing. It is what it is. Nako saying topic is our immediate starting point, our meeting starting guard if we draft him. I didn't like Nikola Topic. I looked at him, and he's undersized. I'm not a big fan of his. I don't endorse him being on the Raptors. But Nako likes him. Tom Duke has joined as a purple level member. Welcome, Tom. We love you, Tommy. Nako saying, I think there's crafty big men in this draft. Probably. We'll have to see. Good morning to Tom. Good morning to me. Thank you, Tom. And David's dapping in. And Dukasaurus Rex is here. That's right. He's gifting 5 memberships. Let's see who got them. All right. Superfan Mo got one of them. James has gotten one of them. Randolph Phillips getting one of them. Stillman. Igor. Awesome. Awesome 5. Great starting 5 right there. We got Mo, James, Randolph, Stillman, and Igor. Some of my favorite Raptor freaks. Some of the best members of the Raptor Freak family right there. Igor, my guy. I see you here. My guy Igor is my guy. Cowboy saying, Tom Duke in the house. What's up? MSJ saying, Cowboy, no, it's not about fat shaming. It's about being in shape to play in the NBA. I find Gary's finish near the rim to be weak, and I just don't feel he's quick enough. I feel like he looks skinnier than he did last year, so I don't get your whole thing about him being overweight. In some ways, it really is about the lift of his feet and the plantar fasciitis. I feel like a broken record when I keep talking about this. Fiercey saying, no dick name slander will be tolerated. Okay. Sheriff Salsera is saying no more dick name slander. Name is saying, wow, let's fucking go, Duke of Cambridge. Okay. Duke comes in clutch. That's right. The Duke of Victoria, BC. Tom Duke is here. That's right. Working on a new look for the Raptors. Okay. Tommy, you change those emoticons how you wish. If you want to give us some fresh new emoticons, you go ahead, my guy. You're producing on this channel to help me out. And he's the one who puts all the little fun add-ons in the chat with the Raptor head and my head and all that stuff. You go ahead, Tom. You do what you do. I trust your judgments. Cowboy saying, I know. Okay. Kareem saying, fuck, it's Christmas. Duke emptying out his bag this morning. Yeah, it's a nice guy. Christmas in March. The snow's out there at least. Tom Duke saying, does he need horns, bigger teeth, a little taller? I don't know who you talk about. Nako saying, I think Ramsey's only like 22 anyways. He's actually older than the other guys on our team. Ramsey is actually, I think he's like 25. He is a little bit older. He's kind of like the Jeff Doughton kind of age in some ways. That is a little bit of the part of the problem. And this is part of the reason why he's a little bit more mature. I'm pretty sure that's right. Let me look it up. He is... No, you're right. He's 22. I don't know why I thought he was older for some reason. He's only 22. You're right. Nako. Kudos to you. Yeah, give him some sunshine. Okay, next time Gary try to dunk, he needs a pogo stick. You think Gary needs a pogo stick when he dunks? Nah, let's not diss him too much. Mo's saying, thanks, Tom, regardless of where we are always cheering. There you go. Thank you, Tom, for being so nice. Stillman saying, thanks, Tom, for the gifted membership, and thanks to David for previous memberships. You bet, brother. David rocks. Yeah, I'm in a little bit of a contentious fantasy matchup with David. I really wish I hadn't missed the ball on playing Jonas Valanciunas the other day for 12 points because I'm actually just behind him within striking distance, only 6 points behind him. I'd be up on 6 on him if I played Jonas. I'm really annoyed by that. But yeah, the matchups in the last week of our fantasy basketball league are crazy. And David, I'm still going to try and figure out a way to try and beat you today. I'm going to have to get on the waiver wire soon. Actually, I should do this while I'm on the stream because there may be games starting before I finish the stream. I got to figure this out. Cowboy's saying, who's this Malachi person you're talking about? Malachi Flynn? You don't know who that is? Oh, you're a lucky guy. Thanks for the membership from James is saying to Tom. Alley oop to Tom Duke. Yeah, we'll do that. We're gonna give Tommy a 3-pointer, not just a dunk. We're gonna give him a 3-pointer. Tommy, you are now at 21. 21. You got a Thad Young 21 right there. Yeah, Thad Young 21. There you go. Let's see. Nameless is saying Kuzma is a joke, man. Flexing and crap against a G League team when he's got 13 wins on the season. Yeah, he is a punk. There was a lot of flexing by our guys at a second. There was one that Gary did his flex, and he was running right by Ray Acosta, right in his face. If he had hit him with the arm, that might have been bad. But he flexed right in Ray Acosta's face. And then, of course, Bruce Brown doing a little flex afterwards. And Alvin, this is the funny part Alvin said. He's like, I'm going to take my shirt off and start flexing too. He's like, what is this, Mr. US Universe? Mr. USA, Mr. Universe bodybuilding competition? Everybody flexing on the court right now. Made Alvin want to rip his shirt off and start doing Hulk Hogan poses himself. That was hilarious. That was the hilarious part there too. Yeah. Let's see. Cowboys saying, true, Kuzma and the Wizards are in trouble. They just don't have anywhere to go. They really aren't building anything of substance or smartly. In some ways, I just don't see it. I mean, their coach is a joke. Everything's a joke about that team. It's just a joke. In some ways, they need bottom feeders in this league, and Washington suffices really well. Stillman saying, contrary to us, Fred and the Rockets team on 8-game winning streak, threatening the Warriors' last playing spot. I love it. I love it. I love it. If Scotty had been healthy, if Yaka been healthy, we might have been fighting for the play-in right now and upsetting some people by putting them out. That was the plan about a month ago before Scotty got hurt. And everything changed after that. Everything changed after that. Chris is saying, I'm not joking about Gary. And what in the world has this to do with body shaming? Nothing. This guy's an NBA player who doesn't seem quick enough to me. This has zero to do with body shaming. Zero. Yeah, I don't know. I just wish you'd let go of this dumb joke. I feel like you made the joke at the beginning. I didn't feel like it was that funny in the beginning. If you really think it's serious, what are you talking about? The man looks skinny as hell. He looks like he needs to gain weight. That's why I'm like, this doesn't make any sense, Chris. In some ways, we try to be kind of factual and kind of like speculating from truth. And you keep saying that he's fat is just ridiculous. All right. It's ridiculous. That man is skinny as hell. He's smaller than most of the people on the court when he's out there. If anything, he needs to gain weight, is what I would say. I just feel like it's just unnecessary. Like we spent too much time on the stream this year with your dumb joke, is all I'm saying, Chris. That's all. Maybe I shouldn't be. I only allude to the body talk because in some ways that's a big topic that people talk about now. Is about everybody shouldn't be talking about people's weights and their body shapes and sizes. You're right. In some ways, it's apropos to talk about with players in the NBA, physicality and athleticism and stuff. But I'm just sick of this joke, Chris. It was never funny to me. If you're serious about it, I think it's a ridiculous take because he's obviously not overweight. Come on, man. Come on now. Seymour saying, keep the L's coming like a chain smoker. Yeah, my neighbor downstairs. Oh my gosh, he chain smokes. He's so annoying. Oh my gosh, it drives me nuts. I wish I could keep my window open in my kitchen, but he smokes cigarettes every 10 minutes all day long. So I pay so much rent in this apartment, and I have not been able to utilize my kitchen window the whole 4 years I've lived here because this motherfucker is chain smoking below me every single day. Oh my gosh, it's annoying. It is annoying. Cowboys saying, it's all good, Chris. Alley-oop to the sheriff. You want to alley-oop to Seymour? All right. All right, let's see. Let's see. Alley-oop to the sheriff, Seymour Pape. He's at 38. 38. All right, let's see. Great game by Gary last night. Yeah, I would say that. He's my number one star. Salute to Cowboy. Chris is saying, my comment on Gary is not some sort of overriding social commentary on body image. I don't want a low-energy, non-quick shooting guard who is one-dimensional on the team. He can't finish, can't rim finish. I'll agree with this, Chris. This is all fair right here. In some ways, I feel like he has been low energy at times this year. I've speculated whether he's been taking cannabis before games or something like that. The players can do this now and get away with it. I feel like he may have been experimenting with this season, and it really backfired. That if he was doing any cannabis before the games, like Kevin Durant does, we know Kevin Durant is smoking before games and doing stuff like that. And I think it's affected him too. I'm a huge cannabis advocate. I think cannabis has all kinds of great positives and benefits. I don't think it should be criminalized, but I also think that you shouldn't be probably using cannabis before you go to NBA games, that your awareness and your on top of things should be very high. I can only speculate that this is possibly happening with Gary, but I don't think it's happening recently. He seems a lot more clear-eyed and not as sleepy as he was in the middle of the season. So I don't know. I don't know. I could be way off base. I apologize to Gary Trent Jr. if I'm saying something out of pocket that is just not true. But in some ways, I could speculate that he's been using cannabis, and that's part of the reason why his energy's been weird. He's been a little like aloof. You see him, and he's kind of like sleepy looking during the season. And I'm not anti-cannabis. I very much pro cannabis. It's just responsibly, recreationally, not when you're driving, and maybe not when you're playing the NBA. Maybe afterwards when you're trying to alleviate the pains of playing on the court, not like before the game. Don't be no Keon Clark drinking a pint of whiskey at halftime or anything like that. That's what I'm saying. No, I can get behind these. This is a better comment, Chris. This is a better one because he has been lower energy at times. A non-quick shooting guard. What does that mean? You know what? I know what you mean. It's like when he catches the ball, in some ways he's lumbersome and slow to get the shot up. I just scouted this guy, Jacoby, and he has a way quicker catch and release than Gary does. It's like Gary gets it and he sits for a second and then shoots. I don't like that. In some ways, he should be like Grady. It's like, get it, shoot, put it in, put it in. And I think that is something that is very true. This is the comment I like right here, Chris, because this is actually giving me something that makes sense. This makes sense. Yeah, and he can't finish at the rim. Yeah, he hasn't been finishing at the rim very well, has he? No, he hasn't. David's saying, didn't he score over 30 points last night, hitting 0 threes? Buckets got to come from somewhere. If y'all don't see improvement, y'all be little fish. Well, David, I'm a counterpoint with you right now because I am on the other side of what we're saying right here. Now, he did hit 1 3. He was 1 of 7. I love that he was perfect 10 for 10 at the free throw line. That was amazing. Honestly, I'll give him a lot of kudos for that. I'll give him kudos for the 3 steals that he got also. The fact that he was a +5, plus minus is also really good. But he did take 26 shots, and he only made 10 of them. That's not a very high percentage in some ways. I mean, it's good. It's not bad. And also, once again, David, I said this earlier. I don't know if you're here. A lot of those close-up shots that Gary was getting near the basket where he'd wait out the defender and just kind of put it in over them, those shots are not there against all the other teams in the league. He can do that against one team in the league, and that's specifically just the Wizards last night. So him scoring all those baskets near the basket, he could not do that against any of the other teams we played recently. And so, I mean, you've got to tell the whole story here as far as things. Those buckets came from those shots is what I'm just saying. James is saying Detroit has a bunch of cap space. I could see Gary there if we don't re-sign him. Well, this will be the whole dilemma. And this is the whole thing that worries me about Clutch and his representation. If they want the money, he's going to go somewhere else. Because if that's the offer we're going to give him to stay in Toronto, he may be making plus 20 somewhere else like Detroit and going there. It really will be what he cares about. Do you care about staying in the 6 and being in Toronto like you said you do? Or do you want the money like Fred did and you're going to go get that money? Because that may be the thing that actually does decide things, that another team values him more and they give him a better contract offer and he takes it. And in some ways, I won't be upset if that happens. I don't want to overpay for him. I want to pay fairly. But if somebody wants to overpay for him and they lure him away, I can't do anything about that. That's just how it is. David's saying, it's fucking amazing. We always need something to fucking bitch about. We fucking suck. Get the fuck over it. We'll be better next year or not. Yeah, nobody's not really bitching about it. We're trying to be realistic about this. This is a lot of money. And considering what we want to do this summer, we really have to suss out whether Gary Trent Jr. is worth a huge contract offer this summer. So this is important, David. This isn't just complaining and griping about Gary. This is being very realistic and kind of looking at it all from all angles. James said Gary was averaging 17 last year. He's a decent player. How many players on our bench can average over 15? Yeah. I mean, I'm not dissing him for a player. And honestly, I wish he would do that for us right now. But, man, he's just been inconsistent this year. And that's tough. That's tough in a contract year. Kareem saying, as a community, we all are forgiving and believe people should get second chances. That said, y'all wouldn't want Bridges for a bag of chips. Bridges? Which Bridges? You got to elaborate. There are a couple Bridges, right? You're talking about Mikal Bridges? I don't even know who you mean when you say Bridges. You mean Mikal Bridges. I didn't even know we didn't even talk about Mikal Bridges. What does he have to do with anything, Kareem? You're just confusing me right here. I don't know. You're talking about, Miles Bridges. See, that's why you need to put both names. Seriously, I wouldn't even thought of Miles Bridges, old white beaten ass. No, I was thinking you were talking about Mikal Bridges. Yeah, that's confusion. Fiercely saying, Tom Duke, work your magic for the raptor emoji. Any enhancement will be welcome. Yeah. Glitz it up like the raptor chain that we're never going to see again. Never going to see that spinny raptor chain ever again for the rest of the season. Nope. We ain't going to see that on Instagram nowhere. Nowhere. It's like bling it up, Tom Duke, just like the raptor chain. Bling it up. Yeah. G saying Scotty posting his teammates even after a loss, his peak teammate. Did he do that? Seriously? Let me go look. All right, let's do the Instagram stories real quick. I got Mogi first. He is celebrating his dunk and block. That was a really cool little exchange. Like he did get a really nice block, and then they came down the floor and he got that really nice extension dunk too. And that was just enough Mo Hamadou for the game for me. Honestly, that was just enough, and I love the highlights of that. Let's see, Coloco's celebrating Arizona winning their game in the tournament. And that's of course going to happen. Let's see, Gary Trent Sr. has got some crazy picture of some really tall lady dancing with some guy. And then he's got fixing a boo-boo as a kid, a Band-Aid and ice cream, fixing a boo-boo as an adult, tacos and a mixed drink. It looks like tequila. The JYD, I'm looking at this Junkyard Dog. He was here in Toronto, of course, at the game the other night, and he was doing some other stuff. Scotiabank Changemakers taking on the Raymond James Hurricanes. So JYD was here doing some charity work with some people here in Toronto while he was in town, also on the broadcast. And there he is with Alvin on his thing. That's so awesome. I love seeing Alvin Williams and Jerome Williams together in the same place. And the stories that share between these guys and all the fun times and the history is just awesome. These are my dudes. That's why they're on the wall behind me. Number 20 and number 13, the Williams, JYD, and Boogie. That's right. Let's see. He's also got a picture of a fan who was wearing his jersey at the game the other night. And I'm sure Jerome Williams is really proud to see that people still wear his jersey to Raptors games to this day. And they didn't know that JYD was going to be at the game. Just some dude came to the game wearing his jersey, and Jerome saw him. He's like, hey, you're wearing my jersey. And I haven't played for this team for like 20 years. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, there's Emmanuel's Instagram story showing his uncle that passed away, Sean L. Hamilton. Rest in peace. All respects and sympathies for the Quickly family, extended, everybody involved. Yeah, they're saying that the ceremony will be March the 30th. In Maryland. Yeah, that sucks. That's so sad. Of course, Marquise Noel is celebrating the 1-year anniversary of his Elite Eight performance in Madison Square Gardens for Kansas State. Of course, this is the time of year where Marquise starts feeling big and bad. He's been talking a lot of trash on his Twitter recently, Marquise Noel, saying that this is going to be the year where he separates himself from the competition this summer. I mean, I love your confidence, but, Monique and I were talking about this yesterday in the chat, and it really is like Marquise, confidence is silent. You got to understand this. There's a lot of guys in this league that believe like you do, but they don't have to post it on Twitter and try and make people believe it by putting it out there. In some ways, you putting it out there shows you're inconfident. In some ways, I get it. You want to reinforce that, like, you're coming, and you're coming, and you really believe in yourself really highly. We get that. You can do that secretly. You can do that in person. In some ways, you're writing checks all over social media with what you expect. Like, you're saying you want to be the greatest Raptor all time. You want to win finals MVPs and win multiple championships. That's great. I love that idea. But when you do it online, you're writing checks that maybe you may not be able to cash later, and people are going to come back around. Say all that shit to yourself privately. Don't put your shit out so public, because in some ways, confidence is silent, Marquise. Confidence is silent, and the way you go on and post all this stuff makes you seem really insecure is what it makes it seem like. He's wearing a nice hoodie with Nipsey Hussle, though, in the last picture. I like that. Let's see. Do I want to do any more of the other ones? No, I don't care about Dennis. Dennis is cool, though. He's going to be here in town tomorrow, of course, with the Nets. And he will be with his family, who's still living in Toronto, even though he plays for Brooklyn. So this is good. Dennis is going to get some good family time around Toronto and his family and Ellen and stuff. It's so sad. So sad that he got traded this year, at least to me. I know other people that maybe not sad too, but it is to me at least. So there's your Instagram check. Scotty is big up in his teammates for sure. He's a very supportive teammate for sure. David's saying the thing about Bridges is, it's not for us to judge. Like when someone goes to jail, the incarceration is the punishment. They are not supposed to be further punished while incarcerated. David, I'm going to disagree with this. Listen, the public court of opinion is very important in some ways. I mean, let's look at OJ Simpson. Yeah. What did the court say about him? Not guilty. Does anybody actually believe that shit? Yeah. What we got to understand is athletes get insulated and protected in certain ways. I can't stand the former quarterback for the Florida State Seminoles that is for whatchamacallit at this point, the Saints. I forget his name even. I don't even want to remember his name. He's such a joke to me because he raped a woman at Florida State and they covered it up. The Florida State football program, the sheriff's department, because they knew that he was an important player, our quarterback. What's his name? What is his name? It's just something. I always forget his name because I don't care. In some ways, he's an idiot. And I don't, he's part of the reason why I disown Florida State as my alma mater, because I don't condone this kind of shit. Look, I have seen the pictures of his spouse beat up in the face. And lawyers can get paid. Big time athletes can get shit to go away and pay stuff. And they pay their fine and all this stuff. They get paid a lot of people to just make it go away. That's what I'm saying. Now, the first case, he was found guilty. He was found guilty. The recent one was thrown out. And that's what's making people think that he didn't do anything wrong because, they threw out the last case. So obviously these have all been false charges against him. No, that's bullshit. The initial charges he got convicted of, the pictures of her with the busted up face and the choke marks around her neck. You have to go look at that stuff, David, and then you can make your own decisions on that. I'm not a judge, jury, and executioner, but if I know that some guy beat up his wife and he's still playing the NBA and I don't agree with that, yeah, I'm going to be against him. And I'm going to talk shit about it. He can get out of it. He can pay all the lawyers in the world. Doesn't mean he's not guilty. And OJ's a good example of that. We know OJ did that shit. Come on now. Come on. Everybody knows he did that. Now, I would agree with this. Now, on some subjects, like Michael Vick is one. Michael Vick paid his price for his dogfighting and all that kind of stuff. In some ways, the crimes that he did were really bad, but in some ways, he did them because it was ensconced in his childhood. And it was just culturally part of his life. He did not realize that some of the shit he was doing was actually criminal. And he got in trouble for it and he went to jail and he served his time. And people still held it over him for many years after that. They still do to this day. I feel like he's a good case of somebody who paid his dues and he should be kind of like looked at differently. But I don't know. Miles Davis is Miles Bridges, it's not Miles Davis, is posting stuff like he's Johnny Depp and she's Amber Heard, and that's absolute bullshit. He is absolutely guilty. You can see the pictures of the abuse he did to her, and you'll find that out. So, yeah, court of public opinion, court of real court, yeah, they're two different things, and things are going to happen the way they are anyway. David's saying, it's not for us to judge. The courts do that. Nothing to do with me whatsoever. Well, you go look at the picture. David, you can go look at the picture. You can judge that picture. It's for you to judge if you want to look at the picture of the abuse and the damage that he inflicted on his wife. That's all you need to look at. Go look at the picture of that, and then you don't have to. You don't want to judge? You don't have to. I will, because I don't like people that abuse women. I don't like people that spousal abuse or hurt them or bust up their face. I'm sorry. I'm not down with that. And in some ways, the NBA can look the other way and say, yeah, we still want you in this league. I'm not one of those people. I'm one of those people that are like, yeah, he needs to get the fuck out of this league. Because in some ways, the way that sports condones violence against women is absolutely dreadful and awful, and it propagates it into regular society. Oh, with Ray Rice or whoever can bust up his wife in the elevator, I can do that too. It's bad examples. And these people shouldn't be rewarded by being able to continue their athletic careers if they're criminals beating up their women. That's just my opinion. You can have yours. And yeah, I'm not a judge. I'm not going to adjudicate him, but it's not like our justice system is fair or balanced or right and just anyway. So, hey, it's all different ways to look at it here. Let's see. David's saying, I found it odd when Matt D started clowning our G Leaguers and rookies. That wasn't cool. See, this is when he wasn't clowning our guys. He was clowning the Wizards. First of all, David, you get it confused. And once again, the clown thing is apropos. This is true. This is something that would happen in the old NBA. I've been watching a long time. And when the quality of basketball is bad on the court, they would call them like Keystone Cops. Oh, there's a little bit of clowning around on the court. It wasn't serious for a period of time in the late third, early fourth quarter last night. There was a lot of really bad basketball being played. And all Matt Devlin was doing was making it a little entertaining. I was doing the same thing at home before he even did it. This is a clown show. This is a farce. This game is a joke. And that's just the damn truth of it. I mean, you can't get mad at Matt Devlin for doing the clown music over the game because that was apropos to what was happening on the court. They were not playing good basketball. There was a lot of turnovers. There was a lot of falling all over the place. It was a clown show. So it was absolutely, yeah. Why are you getting mad at him for doing that? It was apropos to this situation, and it was absolutely the right call. Country Con saying, Lex, last night was huge for our odds. If we can keep our pick, I would love if we could either get Ron Holland, Buzelis, or Cody Williams. Then at 17, like Cowboy, I also like Ryan Dunn and Kelly Ware. Well, I've speculated this, JP, that we won't keep both of the first round picks. If we manage to keep our protected top 6 pick, I'll bet you we'll trade the mid first round pick. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get 2 rookies that high. I think we'll keep the second round pick for sure and one of the 2 first picks. And depending on how we do in the lottery will be whether we keep that 17th pick. If we don't keep the pick and San Antonio takes our top pick, we'll use that as insurance. But if we do keep our pick from the lottery, I could see us trading that pick along with Bruce Brown on draft day, the mid first round pick. So I don't know if we'll get both those picks. I don't think we will. Cowboys saying, I'm so proud of Raptors front office and this young players that we are set for the next year. I think the front office has done an exemplary job. I think a lot of casuals will think they're absolutely failing, but they really don't understand basketball and what we've had to do recently. And that's an uneducated opinion. They'll say, oh, the Raptors front office is just failing and taking L's left and right. No, this is not true. They're managing things very well in a flexible way with the ever-changing terrain of really tough things to deal with. You know, whether it's injuries, whether it's Coloco, whether it's, a coach sabotaging our year last year, whether it's having to trade like really important players halfway through the season and dealing with the ramifications of that. We've done a good job considering all that in some ways. And the main thing, and this is what they were saying in the broadcast last night, and I love that Matt is educating the fans on Darko, is that he's been consistent through all this turmoil and everything. Darko's been very consistent with his demeanor and the way he carries himself. The players know what to expect from him, and that is really good because they're not all second guessing. The coach is consistent. Even the season isn't consistent. That's really difficult to do. That's extremely difficult to do. At some point, Darko could have just lost his shit and been all pissed off. But no, he's been very consistently the same energy around the players, and it's the right positive kind of motivating energy that he should be. Let's see. Stillman saying, with all these reps, our lower level players are getting 905 team should be much improved next season. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's so much turnover with the 905. I think that we should just wipe the slate clean. I don't even know if we want to bring anybody back from this year's edition to next year. In some ways, I always say just start over because start over with the coach and a lot of the players. I mean, I don't know. I would maybe by the end of the year, maybe I'll do a special report on the G League and their season. Near the end of their season, I'll go look at the stats and I'll talk about it. Maybe I'll point out some guys that are worth keeping around. But for the most part, I think we need a clean slate there too this summer, kind of mirroring what we did this season with the Raptors. Clean slate, new coach and new faces, new energy. Maybe Darko has more input in the players we're getting for the 905 because they'll be more helpful to what we're doing on the big level. You know, I want all that kind of stuff to happen next year with the 905. Tom Duke saying, I think you're right. Scotty wants a young squad across the board and isn't afraid of it. Yeah, I don't know. It's not necessarily this. It's not necessarily what Scott wants. It's just that I think that in some ways it'll help him take ownership of the team better and being the leader, being the senior player that's on the whole entire roster. That if he can say, I've been here in Toronto the longest, all of you guys showed up after I came here, that's really easier for him to be a young leader on the team. In some ways, he can really be that guy. With Fred and Pascal and OG, they had way more years before him. And he can't say, like, I've been on this team the longest. You know, Jakob's a weird case because he was here very early and he left and he came back. So in some ways, he's kind of like a bridge for the old period, even with Scotty being the senior guy. So I don't know. I think that this is a good look. And in some ways, as much as I love Chris and Gary, maybe it is good to have Scotty be the most senior Raptor next season. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Yeah. Chris is saying, I think Gary's a decent player, but I just wish he brought more energy. But given his personality, maybe it's just not there. So if he asks for huge money, I think it's too big a risk. That's going to be the thing that kills it, that kills them being the Raptors, is if they're going to be greedy. They're going to be greedy. I mean, we got to pay him what's fair for what we can do with our salary and his output. And if he's going to be greedy and he's going to want a big, huge pile of money, in some ways with that, maybe hasta la vista. Cowboys saying yes, yes, and yes, Country Kong, and maybe Zach Edey or Aaron Bradshaw with the second round. Yeah, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. You guys are so excited about the draft. Nameless is saying that's a great point about the benefit of Scotty being the longest tenured Raptorino. Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense. In some ways, he's getting the guys around him. It doesn't mean that he's the oldest. It just means he's the longest been here, and that may mean something. David's saying giving him huge money would be a mistake. I pay him what he's worth. If he wants to be a Raptor, he will be. Yeah, I'm on the same with David on this with Gary Trent. It's the same for all of our ex players. If they want to be a Raptor, they would be. Some value certain things over others. Well, Fred can't say no to the money that was offered him last summer, so I don't fault him on that. In some ways, these guys do deserve to get the big paychecks that Kyle Lowry always said back in the day. I'm going to get you guys all paid. I'm going to get you all paychecks. And Kyle is sitting back in the Sixers land right now saying, oh, I'm so proud of Fred, $43 million a year. Look at that. Siakam's going to get such a big deal this summer. OG, yeah, he's about to get paid too. And that's like Kyle's like pride of children. It's kind of like he's really proud of his sons. Well, he's really proud of his former teammates to get the big, huge balloon contracts all of a sudden, because that is something he very much valued. And yeah, that's the thing with Gary. We got to balance this and we got to figure it out. And look at all the things that are involved. Rich, Paul, and Clutch are involved. I'm going to keep saying that. And that may be a big reason why things go a certain way, just so y'all know. Let's see. Cowboys saying, preach, David. Let's go Raptorinos. Omari's here. What up, freaks? Good to see Omari again. Back again another day. Listen, if you guys have any housing needs around the greater Toronto area, Realtor Omari Parsons can help you out with buying a house. He can help you actually finance and get a lease or get a mortgage. And also, he can help you find a place if you need a place to rent also. So look up Omari Parsons on social media or even in a phone book if you can still find one. And he can help you if you need help with housing in Toronto. James is saying, I hope we can flip Bruce for a draft pick next year. We might have to give our next year pick to the Spurs. I think it's likely we will. And this is what I'm saying. That is so close to giving them the absolute best possible outcome for the pick. The 7th pick would be perfect for them. That's why we need to be 6 or higher. And then next year, when we're better, hopefully we'll be a middle playoff team or play-in team. And then we can give them a better pick for them in the teens instead of like a top 10 pick. If we do better next year in our record, we're middle of the pack in the NBA, well, they will pick around 15 or 14, and we'll give that pick to the Spurs next season. That's the outcome I'd like to see happen. And we'll see if that's the way it all plays out. Cowboys saying, Lex, you got to do the draft live. It's going to be fire. I don't know. We'll think about that. Once again, everything's up in the air for me in the short term because of the changes I'm making in my life very soon. And I'm having a hard time committing to doing anything up till June at this point. There's just too much change that's going to be happening for me. And I can't say for sure, but I'll keep that in mind now that you said that. Maybe I'll do a live reaction to the draft. Maybe. It's not that exciting. James is saying, would you do Bruce Brown for Andrew Wiggins? Yeah. If we could change that and it's the same money, yeah, I'd have fun having Andrew Wiggins on our team. I don't know if he's as good as he used to be. He's kind of on the downhill of his career, but I mean, still, I prefer to have Andrew Wiggins on this team just for the Canadianness and in some ways, it's something everybody kind of talked about for a long time. And if it finally came around and happened at this point, it'd be hilarious. And of course, it'd be another Canadian guy. I don't think he's going to be on Team Canada, but I would rather have Andrew Wiggins on our team than Bruce Brown for sure. Brown's on an expiring? No, Brown's on a team option. It's really interesting, actually, James. We have him under contract for next year for $22 million, but that is up to us. If we decide we like Bruce and we think that he's done really well for us for the end of the season, we can say, all right, well, here's the $22 million that's on your contract team option. We'll take it. We don't have to, though. That's the great thing about Bruce's contract, and that's why it was kind of cool to trade for him. Forget about what he's done on the court or anything about that. It doesn't totally make sense. But his contract is such a great trade piece right now. And it was a team option. So we can just say, no, we're not going to reinvest with you. You can just walk. And it frees up cap space for us this summer. So the team option is $22 million. We say, no, we're not going to pay you $22 million. Boom. That $22 million in our cap goes towards free agency and spending this summer. So that's kind of how it is. James is saying Wiggins can be our 3-and-D, plus he can score a little bit. Yeah, Wiggins would start, I would guess, and he would be the 2-man. in the lineup with things. I don't know. He may overlap with RJ too much in skill set. I'm really wary of getting players that are too similar because of our recent Vision 6-9 experiment. In some ways, I want guys that have very different skill bags. And in some ways, I would worry that Wiggins and RJ may have too much overlap. Is I guess maybe I don't know. It may not really actually fit in the right way. Cowboy saying, Tom, it was great seeing you pop up in my stepbrother's channel last night. Big up to yourself, bro. Oh yeah, your stepbrother has a channel and Tom was there. That's cool, man. What channel is that, Cowboy? Yeah, Davis asking that. Everyone has to know the Raptors will, I repeat, be in the playoffs next year. Let's fucking grow. I like that. I like that. Tom saying, OG Gary TV is his channel name. That's Cowboys brothers. Step Brothers channel. Okay, cool. Gary TV. Gary TV live during games. During games, David. So he's doing live streams during games. Your stepbrother. That's cool. Tom's saying that's cool. He's your stepbrother. I joined because I saw you. Okay. Yeah, that's his family. Cool. All right. Gary live. Gary live. MSJ saying Dick and Abaji are both going to come in next year much better. And with the starters all back, we could be a playoff team. Just need to draft right. And blessed thoughts to everyone today. Talk to you later. Back at you, Chris. And I'm sorry if I came at you a little bit about the body stuff. It's just, it is what it is. No, I'm with you. I think that Abaji can make big leaps this summer, too. Yeah, especially with his offensive game. I feel like a lot of the energy and the defensive stuff he does is absolutely fantastic. It's just if he could clean up his shot and be more consistent and maybe even like work on some, I don't know, low post moves or I don't know. What should he work on? Should he get a better mid range? Maybe. I don't know. Cowboy saying 1,000 shows. Alley-oop for a great job. Yeah, it'll be coming up soon. I think we're about 920 or something at this point. So it'll be a couple months. Probably be near the end of the summer when I hit 1,000. Let's see. Mo's saying, keep up the great streams, Lex. Despite the outcomes, good times approaching. There were definitely positives last night for sure. Go Raptors, go for life, regardless. That's right. And go to the game tomorrow, Monique. She'll be down at the arena for the Brooklyn Nets game, cheering them on in person. And yeah, let's bring that good energy down there. And we'll see. I mean, whatever outcome happens, we're going to game it to the best of our advantage. We don't win. Hey, we win. Okay. Okay, that's good too. Let's see. Tom's got everybody on blast, and Monique on blast, and the Raptors on blast. Okay, let's see. Amari's saying, I think Entertainment Tonight is the same song, just with violins. Yeah, maybe you're right. I think they're just different tones. It's the same composer. You can tell it's all John Tesh's goofy ass. That new age experimental musician artist. Let's see. Cowboy's saying, where's Miss Moody? Lex needs a drink. All right, I'll do it now. All right. Yeah, let's see. Wayne saying, okay, talking money. We love Gary. Current rates and Bruce gone at 20 million. Those two sewn up and we're good. Gary should be averaging more whatever he's doing now. That's a tough one with Gary. Yeah, I'm not sure, Wayne. I don't know if I think either one of them are worth 20 million a year. I like that Doug Smith quote. That's for sure. Wayne saying, Lex, who are the teams in both West and East you want gone in the first round? Mine are in the West, Pelicans and Lakers, Boston, Celtics and Cavs, and Sixers. East is tougher. Some might cancel each other. I mean, obviously, I want to see the Celtics and the Sixers out as soon as possible, and the Lakers too, and the Warriors. Those are probably the four teams I'd like to see get out of the playoffs as soon as possible because those are the four teams the NBA wants to do the best. Maybe the Knicks too. Although OG factor will factor into whether I want the Knicks to go far. But the problem I'm going to see with the Knicks is the Knicks could win their first round, and they're going to just be absolutely crazy. Their fan nation is going to be so obnoxious that, I mean, I've seen them win one playoff game in the past, and they go crazy. So just imagine them winning the first round. They're going to be absolutely overbearing and annoying. So I temper my wanting the Knicks to do well, knowing that their fan nation is going to get out of pocket and just act stupid. Just think how the Leafs nation gets. When they get far in the playoffs, they start acting all badass and crazy. I like Leafs Nation doing that, but they get arrogant and they kind of talk shit to people like Raptors Nation, and they don't need to. That's what I'm worried about. I temper my expectations of success for the Knicks, knowing that the Knicks Nation is going to get really obnoxious. But I want OG and Precious to do well. It's just I don't want to hear the Knicks fans be so happy and crazy and talking shit in some ways. So it's weird. It's a weird one. Cowboys saying later, Lex and Freaks. Enjoy your Sunday. Let's go. Yeah, I appreciate that. James saying cannabis is good occasionally, at least for me. It helps with inflammation. That's what I'm saying. In some ways, they don't want you to drive on it. Well, maybe don't play in the NBA on it. I mean, some guys play really well on it. I don't know. Brandon Ingram, he's out there probably playing on it. I don't know. In some ways, it's like, it's a tough thing because I am very pro cannabis, but I don't want any of the Raptors smoking cannabis before they play. I don't want them to be on oil while they're playing. I want them to be clear headed and totally cognizant and aware and on top of things and just really, really, really like on a sharp edge and not maybe dulled with kind of like their senses. Does that make sense? Fiercey saying, W Stream fam, my daughter's playing at the finals of this weekend tournament. Wish us luck. You go, Fiercey Salcero Jr., and bring home the gold. That's right. Go into them finals and win. Win, 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 win. Seymour saying, good luck to you, Fiercey. Yeah, that's awesome. Let's get the W tonight, Fiercey. That's right. Get that W, Fiercey Jr. Wayne saying whether we're keeping Gary is relevant talking point now. For $18 million per year, he's barely producing for that money. His average is misleading, and half the games are below 10 points. This is true. Wayne's got a really good point. You know, some of his numbers are skewed higher because he has really sensational games like last night. But I would say the norm is more below the average, and then he has one big, huge game that really skews the numbers up. And that maybe like what Wayne is saying is it sounds right that like a lot more of his games are under his average, and he'll have like a really big game every once in a while that kind of pops him up and makes his average up higher. Let's see. Cowboys saying, let's go, Fiercey Jr. I'm with that. Good luck, Mini Fiercey. Yeah, have a good one from Tom. And David's got a unicorn and a Ferris wheel. Okay, he's got the fair rides. And Wayne's saying Wiggins for Brown is a solid no Canadian content. No Canadian content without production makes no sense. Please, the Raptors are in Canada, but not the national team. Don't want Corey Joseph either. Brown for quality. Yeah. I mean, I can get behind this. I think Wiggins' time to be on the Raptors where he could be productive and be awesome has already passed. In some ways, there's weird things going on with him and the Warriors right now. And I don't know. I think I can get behind Wayne. His stake is like, just because guys are Canadian doesn't mean we should want them on our team. We got to really think about fit. We got to think about whether it makes sense. And I don't think Wiggins totally does make sense. And it's partly because I don't think he fits next to Barrett. I think that's part of it. But I will disagree with Wayne on this. I do want more Canadians on our team. And I think it is a sound strategy to collect more on our team. But they have to make sense with fitting in the bigger scheme of the puzzle, for sure. I mean, you say you don't want Corey Joseph, but I would have been okay with getting Corey Joseph for the stretch run at the end. Kelly Olynyk kind of covers this. But having Corey Joseph as a backup point guard vet, I mean, Dennis was that guy before. I mean, he's worthwhile in some ways. But, you know, if you get him at the very dirt cheap veteran minimum, he's very valuable. Very, very valuable. Now, this is the thing. This summer for Team Canada, there's 3 guys that were in the Team Canada camp that did not play last year because they were hurt. And they are Jamal Murray, O'Shea Brissett, and Corey Joseph. And that's the thing. In some ways, those guys have a leg up to be on Team Canada this summer more than the other guys that have not been involved at all in this cycle. The guys that went the World Cup had the number one priority, first of all. But yeah, the Scrub Brothers, Trey Bell Haynes, they may be going and not to Paris. And it may be that Jamal Murray, O'Shea Brissett, and Corey Joseph will be replacing them. In fact, that may be an upgrade. Trey Bell Haynes for Corey Joseph coming in there because Corey has a lot of experience as a vet. He's an NBA caliber player, but we'll have to see how they manage it. SGA is so smart. They asked him after the game against Toronto on Friday, what do you think the Team Canada roster should look like? Who should they be adding and stuff like that? And he said, look, this isn't my job. This is the job of Jordy Fernandez and Rowan Barrett Sr., and I trust that they're going to do a good job. In some ways, I'm not answering this because I don't want to shape what my perception of what this team should be this summer for Canada. Because honestly, I have no control over it, and I don't want to like cause any problems for our team. So very smart diplomatic answer by SGA. I was saying, I'm not going to shape who y'all think that should be a Team Canada by putting my opinion out. I'm going to let them do their job. Rowan Barrett Sr. and Jordy Fernandez figuring out who they want. Now, Jordy said in his interviews on Friday that it is going to really be strongly taken in consideration the guys' commitment that were at World Cup last year. He said the guys that we had were perfect last year, and I really loved having that group. So he is really kind of leaning towards not changing the team too much. Now, I could see Jamal Murray coming in for somebody like Trey Bell Haynes or somebody else getting cut. But y'all thinking that we're going to just get all NBA guys and put them out there for Team Canada this summer is probably not going to happen. There's going to be some international guys like Melvin Ejim on the team. I'm going to bet you money it's probably Melvin Ejim is going to be on the Team Canada team this summer still for some reason. Yeah. Let's see. What can we get for Bruce Brown? Well, what we would do is we would trade him on trade day, on draft day, that he would go in the package, maybe with the pick he was with that came to us from Indiana. He may be just with that pick once again, going another way on draft day. We'll have to see how it all shakes out. He has an attractive thing to him to teams right now where he can be a trade piece for sure. For sure. We'll have to see. It may be that we're switching our pick in the draft. It may be players. Who knows? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. All right, let me do a recap and make sure I got everything. We are 15 minutes past noon. That's not bad. A little bit of a Lexathon. The Raptors lost to the Wizards. It was stupid. And it's really kind of an accomplishment that they lost to such a bad team. My 3 stars of the game were Gary Trent Jr., Oshai Abaji, and Jamias Ramsey. The 905 also lost yesterday by 20 points, the Wisconsin Herd. 2 more games, and then Eric Curry will be put out of his misery, hopefully, as the coach of the 905. Daryl Morsell, Jalen Delaire, and Omari Moore, my 3 stars of the game in that loss. Yeah, we did the Instagram stories. Oh, I want to talk about what Bruce Brown did in the game last night. It kind of pissed me off. When Bruce Brown went to the basket and he fell to the floor and he laid there like he was hurt, I really got mad at that. I know he was trolling. He was trying to make fun. But listen, as someone who deals with somebody who has seizures, that's not funny. To lay on the ground and look like you're having a seizure is not cool at all. It's not cool at all. And even if you were trolling or making fun or you wanted your guy to come up and press your heart down or something like that, you made me think you had a very serious brain injury or something, that you hit your head and you were in a bad place all of a sudden. In fact, my heart sank when I saw Bruce laying on the floor with a weird look in his eyes like he was hurt. That is really not cool. Really, really not cool. And as somebody who has a partner who deals with epilepsy and seizures, making fun of that shit is totally not cool. Totally not cool. And you got to really on my shit list for that, Bruce Brown, with your little goofy ass lay on the ground. Now, Gary, when he laid on the ground, he just lays there. I've seen Gary lay there and he's just kind of resting. But Bruce, you made it look like you were hurt and something was wrong with you. And I'm not cool with that. Even if you think it's funny or some sort of joke, to me, I took offense to that as somebody who has to deal with somebody sometimes having a seizure around him all of a sudden. So, yeah, not cool, Bruce Brown. Not cool in the least. Seriously. You may think it's funny, and some people out there may be making jokes about it, like Joel of DeRozan saying new yoga pose unlocked. Nah, I'm not cool with it because it's not cool at all. Let's see. The Raptors have a 65% chance they're going to keep their pick as of last night. That's awesome. And then we get a siren. Fire truck, get there. Godspeed. Save those people. Russell Westbrook is going to be back next week from his hand injury. It made me think, well, why isn't Scotty coming back? That's what I was thinking. All right, here we go. Here's something to do real quick. We have birthdays today. We got 2 guys from Georgia Tech that we want to celebrate their birthdays. Actually, they're not from Georgia Tech. One's from Texas. One's from Georgia Tech. 2 great Raptors. Do you guys know who I'm talking about? The birthdays for today. Both of them having their birthdays today. First of all, I guess one of them is 1 year older than the other one. One of them's turning 40, and the other one's turning 41. Does anybody know whose birthday it is today? 2 great Raptors. One went to Georgia Tech, and one went to Texas. And one of them had a blood clot problem, and one of them had a neck injury and while he was a Raptor. Yeah. Do you guys know who I'm talking about? Let me see if you guys can guess whose birthdays it is today. Went to Georgia Tech, blood clot problems. Yeah. No, it's not Thad Young. Thad Young did go to Georgia Tech, but that's not who's turning 40 today. The other one, he heard a really scary accident. TJ Ford and Chris Bosh. Yeah, Amari got it. That's right. Happy birthday, Chris Bosh. Great lottery pick of the Raptors, a great all-star for us, but not really Raptors alumni at this point. He's Heat alumni. He's a Heat champion. And they were talking about him in the broadcast a little bit. Alvin talking about Chris Bosh becoming a role player for the Heat and helping them win championships. Yeah, it's Bosch's birthday. Happy 40th birthday to Chris Bosch. And happy 41st birthday to TJ Ford of Texas Longhorns. Of course, TJ was in that point guard battle with Jose Calderon back in the day for the Raptors. Yeah, I always liked TJ a lot. I still like TJ a lot. Chris, I'm not so big on him at this point. Yeah. So happy birthday, Chris Bosch and TJ Ford. That's the birthdays today. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Once again, check your fantasy basketball teams. This is the last day of competition, the regular season, and we'll start the playoffs tomorrow. And David, I still want to try and beat you today. I'm going to try and figure out some sort of way through the waiver wire as soon as I get off of this stream. I'm going to have to go check that right away because there may be a game starting soon at 1 o'clock, and I want to make sure I got somebody in there if I need to. All right. I appreciate everybody watching me today. I know it can be tumultuous and weird and ups and down. This season with the Raptors has just really kind of been like that. There's been a couple seasons like this. Well, we ride or die with them. We go through it through thick and thin. And that's just how we are. We're real fans. We're positive fans. We're not going to kick the team while they're down like a lot of people will. I will say this. I appreciate casual Raptor fan and Raptors fan and social media understanding what the fuck's going on right now. Y'all aren't going crazy and freaking out about a loss to the Wizards last night like you would have maybe a month ago. Y'all are figured it out and that losing is in our best interest. And I appreciate y'all getting with the program and understanding this and not trying to make this whole thing that happened last night a sob story and talking about how we're so shitty and this and that. Thank God y'all got a little more educated. Raptors social media people all over social media in different places. I appreciate y'all for finally understanding what we're doing right now and not being stupid and being like, why are we losing to the Wizards? Oh my gosh, we're such a fail. No, we need to lose, and we did. That's right. Fiercely saying casual fans giving up on us like the trash talking is taking itself out. Thank you. Yeah. You don't want to watch the Raptors? You think they're shitty? Well, you go ahead. Take your trash out, like Fiercely saying. All right, go Fiercely Salsera Jr. and win the finals today. That's what we're saying today. I love you guys. Thanks for watching me today. I know I'm cantankerous. I know I'm crazy. I'm a character. I'm a personality. And I'm not totally easy to get along with at times. I know that. But that is what makes me who I am. And I unapologetically have to be Lex. The thing about me, though, is if I'm wrong, if I could get better, if I can be a better person, I will listen to you and I will try to be a better person. And in that way, I want to be a role model in that way. I'm not above reproach. I am a human being. I make mistakes all the time. I'm an asshole sometimes, and wrongfully so. So listen, I want to be a better person every single day when I get up. And I hope the Raptors want to be a better team every day that they get up. I know they do. And next year will be the time we see it more. Not this year. That's right. Cantankerous. Yeah. What does that mean? Cantankerous? Cantankerous is kind of ornery or grumpy. Yeah. Cantankerous is kind of ornery, kind of grumpy, kind of word. Yeah. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Have a good day. A good sunny Sunday. Enjoy it. Get out there. And I'll be back tomorrow to set you up for the Brooklyn Nets game tomorrow night here in Toronto at Scotiabank Arena. Let's go, Raptors. Keep the faith. Keep it going. That's right.